Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our week in review. I want you all to get comfortable. You see my voice here. I'm not turned up, which, God, after that SmackDown, I have every reason to be. I want us all to be comfortable because I want to get right into the conversation. I'm not going to be like, oh, I thought this week and this and that. No, I've been enjoying just jumping right into the discourse as of late. The bloodline continues to evolve this story 3+ years on, just when you think it's going to cool down after Roman loses the title. It heats up in an exciting direction. And I'm only going to say this once. I'm not going to turn up and make a bit about it because, Ashton's here and I value both of our time. Jimmy Uso got exactly what he deserved. I want this to be a lesson to everybody. When you coast in your life on simply having some weird defining biological trait, i.e., being a twin. And by the way, Taguchi, P.S., that is how you use an ass. I was very impressed with how Solo used his. Uh, my bulge wasn't nearly doing as much as the bulging happening in Jay's neck after that hip attack with the chair wrapped around it. So, with that said, I love the segment. I love, and of course, not to bury the lead here, Tama Tonga is now a part of WWE, not as Maven. He grew the facial hair back. All positive moves happening here. And Paul Heyman is utterly terrified, which I got to tell you, I find utterly delicious. This was an amazing segment because Paul Heyman doesn't make any excuses, acknowledges, Roman took his eye off the ball for 1 second with Seth Rollins, which I love that. Solo, you can see has a look on his face. Maybe he's almost disgusted, maybe with Roman Reigns. Jimmy, uh, we should have known Jimmy was getting jumped out the gate because he was smiling way too much. Well, this whole explanation was happening. And then I love Solo. I love Solo's speaking style because it's slow and only a couple of sound bites, but he gets to the point menacingly. And he's like, wins, they matter, right? And Heyman's kind of looking at him like, oh God, I'm perceived. I didn't want to be perceived. Yeah, yeah. So losses, they have consequences, right? And then Heyman's been here before, so he's a solo, and then Solo pushes him out the way, and he looks at Jimmy, and Jimmy's like, "Me, you're not looking at me." Like Jimmy immediately starts getting defensive, and then Solo hugs him, and he's like, "I love you, I love you." And Jimmy, now this is where I have to laugh at the Jimmy character, okay? And like this is, he does a great job with it because the Jimmy character has never been sharp in that way. Like the Usos used to say, keep your head on a swivel. This Jimmy Uso is far more relaxed because if you would have taken 2 seconds, this is the same man that has never returned your high five offers ever. I have seen you high five yourself multiple times. So we go from high five to hug. Now, I'm an affectionate guy, but I'm going to sample the jury here and say that that is a big escalation, right? So why do you think he's going to skip steps? What are you doing? And then, of course, Tamatonga attacks. They do the whole thing. Heyman gets his phone destroyed when he tries to call Roman Reigns. And again, he's just utterly terrified. Later in that same segment or that, same episode of SmackDown, Solo emerges from backstage with Tamatonga and he raises the tape thumb because Tom is like, by orders of the tribal chief. But again, it's very vague. And Heyman's like, what the hell does that mean? So, in essence, I love this. And I do just want to make one more brief point that I'll dive further into once we get Ashton's initial comments. I don't want Jay to take Jimmy back. You were acting a fool the whole time, and you got exactly what you deserved. And you need to sit this one out. And Jay's singles career, literally, he is the number one contender for Damian Priest. So, like, if Jimmy is going to get back with Jay, Jimmy needs to earn that to me. But we'll go deeper into that. For now, though, Ashton, what did you think of this segment, bro? Because this was nuts to me.
The segment itself was good. I will definitely give it credit. I enjoyed it. It was intense. The execution of it had me on the edge of my seat. Very well done. But it's the overarching implications of what's coming out of the segment that have really got its fangs in me. Like, I am completely invested in what's going to happen next in this storyline. So if I wasn't interested in literally anything else that was happening on SmackDown, and I am, so props to SmackDown for having more than one thing going for it at the time. But if even if there wasn't anything, for argument's sake, this would get me tuning into SmackDown on Friday.
Bro, you know what's crazy to me, and I want your thoughts on this?
Okay.
Because again, like SmackDown, especially, I was excited to talk to you about this week. There were other good things, but other things that we're going to try and avoid like the plague. Um, the Roman character itself. Now, I get that he's not present, right? I understand that. So I should say the Roman character as expressed and as advanced by Paul Heyman,
Right.
because to me, and I think I've told you this before, but it's been a while. I mean, because God, he just kept holding on to the damn thing. But I always thought that when he'd lose the title, we'd go nuclear, right? He would just snap because he's been so abusive and so borderline, I'll say it, borderline psychotic in just the effort to keep it. That the idea that he's kind of mellowed out, like I even saw he actually did even tweet and he said, "Oh, day one, the climb begins again." And he's training, but he's also smirking. I don't mind it. I'm just surprised by it because I don't want to say this is a nitpick. This is more just me having a conversation with you right now about this. I do wonder if they're kind of rushing a little bit getting him back to being babyface by having Solo being way too big for his britches right now. I wonder if maybe we're moving a little too fast. Like, I love the segment. I loved how we got Tama Tonga here. We know Jacob Fatu is waiting in the wings. I saw in wrestling news from DBK, because DBK is just excellent about staying on top of it. Appreciate you, DBK, and welcome to the chat, as well as Foster and Super Blue. That Hikuleo major. I mean, dude, we might about to get some crazy shit here. Okay. But I do wonder if to get the big moment of Roman being babyface and stuff, I just wonder how they're going to handle it because it needs to feel earned. I haven't forgotten what this dude has done to keep that title. However, what's interesting to me, the more I think about it, is that Solo already makes himself distinctive from Roman for one reason. Roman was always abusive, and this is going to sound fucked up, and this is not a justification for me. This is literally explanatory. He was always abusive to keep the family in the bloodline because Roman wanted to be insulated. He wanted that protection. Solo does attacks to exclude people. Like Jimmy is out. Like if Roman would have done this, it would have been to teach Jimmy a lesson, but ultimately to keep him in. I firmly believe that
Right.
because Roman never kicked them out of the bloodline,
Right.
ever. Even when he thought he was losing Jay or he was worried about, say, the honoraries, even Sammy, to be fair, he wanted to keep Sammy. Roman's mentality was if I could surround myself with people, great, because that's always going to be the option. I never saw Roman excommunicate anybody. The idea that Solo has gone out of his way to leave Jimmy for dead immediately makes him distinctive from Roman Reigns. And that I think is another interesting character beat. So I'm wondering if you like share my concerns about them potentially rushing Roman as a face, how you feel like Solo will be different temperamentally as a tribal chief, given that he was, the tribal prince, just all that stuff. Like, what do you think?
I am this is why I'm so intrigued by this story because it really does feel like we are at such an impasse right now where they could absolutely fumble the ball and push really hard on making Roman a face now and have him just try and redeem himself from all of the harm that he's caused over the last 3.5 years and have him try and beat the new big bad in the company, which would be Solo, before going back to trying to win the Universal or the undisputed WWE title again. That does not interest me at all. Nothing about that is interesting to me at all. Here's what's interesting to me. What if Roman comes back and Solo still is interested in being a part of Roman's bloodline and he just did what he thought was best? And he felt like, quote unquote, losses have consequences. He felt like the correct consequence for Roman's loss was to blame Jimmy and excommunicate him.
That would be interesting. And then, but see, I still would have to see it as like, because I love your vision honestly, because
Well,
that
because this is
does,
leading to me
yeah.
to more, though. I have more going. Like this, I've got this whole vision that I see that I really hope they go for because we keep on hearing these rumors. Jacob Fatu, right? We
Yeah.
didn't see him this week, and I was very disappointed by that. But there's one thing that I'm thinking maybe they could be saving him for. What if Roman gets back and he's pissed at Solo? And Solo is still like, I'm the tribal prince. You know, you picked me because you knew that I would be the best decision to be the next tribal chief. You know, when you were ready to be done with this, I've got no interest in being the tribal chief right now. I don't want you to think that. And Roman is just like, listen, Solo, I've got no interest in not having you be a part of the bloodline, but I don't know if my tribal prince can go off and make decisions for himself the way that you did last week. So I've got to relegate you. And here's your new tribal prince, Jacob Fatu.
Ooh. Ooh, I like that.
That's what I was thinking because I was like, okay, so Roman is losing power right now. Like in the current situation, it feels like Roman has lost a lot of power because Jimmy was very loyal to him and he thought Solo was loyal to him. But now, on the appearance, it looks like Solo is going into business for himself and bringing in Tamatanga, who looks to be loyal to Solo. But if Roman can make it so that Solo is still loyal to him, he would also gain Tamatanga under Solo, and then if he could add someone who could take Solo, who is directly loyal to Roman, unquestioning, that would give Roman his power back. And you know that that's all Roman's interested in is surrounding himself with people like you said, and at that point he would have like a full strength 3-man backup squad bloodline and seeking power. And again, like Jacob Fatu being Roman's most direct follower at that point and keeping Jacob more at a distance, or I'm sorry, keeping Solo more at a distance to kind of quote unquote punish him for making a decision, you know, going into business for himself. I feel like that's exactly what the Roman character would do. Like, if we're just speaking about, like, if these were real people, what would they do? I feel like that is hammer on the nail exactly what Roman Reigns' character would do in this situation. He would say, okay, Solo, I didn't tell you to do that. You fucked up. You're not the tribal prince anymore. Tama, if you want to hang around, you can be a part of the bloodline, but you are bottom of the barrel in the bloodline. And I'm bringing in a new tribal prince who's loyal to me and only me.
See, I like that too because I feel like it works out the pacing issues that I have. And here's another thing that I thought too, because to me, just trying to look at this objectively about where WWE might go,
Yeah.
it the big moment's gonna be when Roman gets spiked by Solo. To me, that's gonna be like a defining moment of this whole thing because that it's gonna gauge crowd response. Like, is there sympathy and stuff? Which I think there would be because Roman, even as a heel, had a magnetism and a likability to him. Like, there's a reason he was on top for over 3 fucking years. With this whole reign. But I realize, God, I hate to admit it because the less we talk about this dude today, the better because WWE already gave him enough coverage. I think Roman's got to lose his rematch to Cody first before that happens because, Solo in his mind, he could blame somebody else because, hey, I mean, our tribal chief was on top for so long, but, everybody's going to slip up sometimes.
Right.
But if Roman loses the rematch, right, then Solo's going to be thinking, oh, wait, you're actually the problem. Now, the more interesting thing about that to me, and I don't want to think like too long term, but I'm just kind of having fun with this is that we've been speculating about when is Cody's reign going to end, how is it going to end, who's going to end it. I know Gunther's been the primary candidate, but I'm going to be honest. Solo doing this, he did kind of shoot up in my rankings a little bit. I wonder if they would tell a story where Solo beats Cody at one point and kind of does what Roman couldn't do. At least with like everything being equal and stuff, and that's beat Cody Rhodes. That could be interesting. I feel like there's a lot of possibilities with the story, and really a lot of them good. I don't really see like any outright bad options here. I think another thing that intrigues me is what does Paul Heyman do? Because let's remember when Jay left the bloodline, he blamed Heyman for everything.
Yeah.
He said, like, this dude's corrupted you. He's got to go. If this family's going to heal, he can't be a part of this. But at the same time, like, Heyman and Roman's relationship is unique because Roman, he was abusive to Heyman at times. It's not like he never was, but they definitely had like a camaraderie with each other. And Heyman seems genuinely terrified of Solo. I don't know if he wants to stick around with that, but maybe it's because of that fear that he would stay. Because it's like, I don't think you can protect me from him, kind of thing. So I'm gonna go with the monster here. So yeah, because Bloodline Civil War was in my personal trends today. When you think about where the battle lines are drawn, like everybody just thinks the core three is going to be Roman and the Usos, which again, thinking about Jimmy and Jay too specifically, Jimmy needs to earn that. And that's always kind of
Yeah.
the intrigue and the high wire act of long-term storytelling, right? And I love that WWE is embracing this truly. Like it's really taken the programming up another level. Um, but you've got to make sure that you've really thought this shit out.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before with baby faces like a Bailey, like a Kevin Owens. Where is the redemption arc? And how, if anybody needs to go on a redemption arc, it's Roman Reigns. And yeah, honestly, after screwing Jay after two fucking championships, the world title and the Intercontinental title more recently,
Jimmy.
damn right, Jimmy needs to have a redemption arc.
Yup.
So how do we do that? That's always kind of the question that I come back to. It's like, fine, we could talk
Yeah.
about these options, and I'm right there with everybody for fucking sure.
So the
But
sort
yeah,
of consensus among the internet is Bloodline Civil War, Roman and the Usos versus Solo, Tama, and Jacob.
yes,
Okay.
hmm
Yeah. I know the Hikuleo thing got brought up. I should say though, he's working New Japan, and New Japan contracts don't end until like January, February. So we're not going to see him in WWE until then. So don't even don't let's not even consider him a part of this right now. He's not going to be for a long time.
You know what's crazy though, dude? This story's been going on for so long. I feel like it's feasible to say like he's not going to be a part of it right now, and I'm really glad you stressed that for me and our audience.
Yeah.
But like, I haven't given up hope that he could be a part of it, just in general, because of how long this story's already gone on. Um, but no, man, this was nuts. This was absolutely nuts. I love though again
Oh yeah,
that
Caster Sales made a great point actually. Where does Dwayne factor in?
I mean Dwayne seems dialed in on Cody, bro.
See,
From
that's kind of
yeah,
my thing. People keep wanting to talk about with Dwayne, but like the last time we saw Dwayne, his primary focus wasn't even on the WWE championship. He explicitly told Cody in the middle of that ring on Monday, whether you're the champion or not, I'm coming for you. He didn't say whether you're the champion or not, I'm coming for that title. He said, I'm coming for you. He's
yeah.
coming for Cody. He isn't doing anything with the bloodline right now. I don't think that Dwayne is doing anything or messing around with the bloodline anymore. I think he is completely hands off. And when he does come back, which I don't expect to be probably until like Rumble season, unironically, I think that The Rock is a very legitimate candidate to win the 2025 Royal Rumble. I don't think we're going to see him at all. And I don't think we're going to hear from him much at all.
Okay, so just to respond to all of that, because you've given me a lot to respond to and work with. Um, I do agree, and I'm really glad you emphasized the language that Dwayne used because he did say Cody, not the championship, because they are distinct, obviously. I personally, I would think no earlier than SummerSlam, but I am inclined to agree with you that a guy of his name value, especially right now after he had such a great run, it does seem Rumble season. I also don't necessarily ratchet your pontification that he might win the 2025 Royal Rumble because he is the like I could very easily see in storyline him give himself the number 30 spot. Or
Well,
hell,
yeah,
even I could see him doing something so fucked up as like, oh, this Rumble has 31 entrants, and
yeah,
after the person, maybe it's even like a low number that just went through the gauntlet. It's like, oh my god, eliminated number 30. I
yeah.
come in and he very quickly, like I could see it. I could
Well,
see it
yeah,
so
because like,
easily.
what is the number one thing that people have told him people have complained about regarding him being involved in the world title this year? You didn't win the Royal Rumble, Cody did, and he turns around and says, "All right, I'll win the Rumble then."
Exactly. Yeah. Say something now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No,
It's
I really
honestly like as frustrating as it is to have 3 straight years of Rumbles dedicated to this story. That's brilliant storytelling. To have The Rock win the 2025 Rumble after this year and everything that went down, it's genius storytelling.
I agree. Yeah, no qualms from me, no complaints from me. And I gotta tell you, like, while I'm praising the storytelling structure and while we're kind of doing that together and kind of talking things out, I really think this is a clever use to give Roman some. much deserved time off. Like, dude, I gotta tell you, after this whole run, my respect for Roman, I don't know if it could get any higher because there was even that journalist at the presser after night one of Mania that actually, kind of broke the fourth wall and asked about Roman the person and his leukemia. And Roman's like, yeah, I'm gonna be on, chemotherapy pills like the rest of my life. So the
Yeah.
idea that he's on that kind of medicine
Yep.
and he put in the kind of work that he did for over three fucking, you're like,
Yeah.
this dude's a beast,
Yep.
man. Like, I I'll admit, I use the term beast a lot with guys like Oba and Braun, and I don't apologize for it. But the line starts behind Roman after that shit. That's unbelievable to me. And so him getting some much deserved time off in this way, it doesn't even feel contrived because Solo does seem like the type of character that would take matters in his own hands if he felt like things were starting to go south. And like Jimmy's a great character too. Like I've got to legitimately give him his props because if I can enjoy this stuff happening to him, that means he's been such a great shitheel all this time because this dude has been clowning and kind of the whole no yeet and everything and starting stuff with Jay that when he gets taken out, I'm like, yeah, I mean you deserve this. So I don't really know what you want me to tell you, my dude. Um, this was great. And I think again it lends itself to very interesting television going forward. So we'll have to see what happens there. But while we're on SmackDown, which I thought to be a very fruitful show this week, just want to say that Cody was on the show. Blah blah blah. More importantly, though, we're determining his contender next week because AJ Styles is facing LA Knight. That it was two separate triple threats. AJ won one against Kevin Owens and Rey Mysterio. Just want to point out that KO losing this. Still have the theory that he's going to be on the same show as Sammy come the draft, and we're going to do KO and Sammy things like we do so many times over. So I'm still convinced of that theory. I'm still committed to that theory. Ray, I think, is going to be working a program with Carlito soon because Carlito, I mean, I can't believe he's kept the mask on this long. But then again, I mean, with Oscar veiling face all the time, I guess Carlito took ample notes. LA Knight, on the other hand, he beat Santos and Lashley. Really would have liked Santos to advance just for something different, even if he ultimately didn't win. But we knew that wasn't going to happen. LA Knight is the hot commodity right now.
Yep.
Um, I'm really hoping that AJ just wins. I'm assuming he will, given that Cody's champ. But it feel I can't even really like AJ fully in this, not because he did anything wrong, but because just for the Cody title reign, it feels a bit masturbatory. Like, oh hey, we were both in Bullet Club. I hate that Cody uses that. Like you were a leech in Bullet Club. You weren't in Bullet Club. Know the fucking difference. Um, so yeah, we're getting that match next week. I'll tell you another match we're getting next week: Bailey versus Naomi. After Naomi beat Tiffany Stratton, I'm like, yes. Good for Naomi. Finally getting one up on Tiffany because Tiffany's beaten her in singles and she pinned her in the chamber. So I'm like, God, are they even ever gonna let Naomi get one on her? But bro, ultimately, because they're wasting Naomi Bailey for next week instead of Backlash, I wonder if Tiffany will be slotted into Backlash. And you already know, bro, because I've been saying it for weeks. I've got Tiffany dialed in on Women's Money in the Bank, although I can't lie to you, if Chelsea's in it, she might be my campaign this year because I love Chelsea Green so much, dude. But yeah, like I'm still dialed in on Tiffany. So, what do you think about just everything going on with the women? You think Naomi's going to be a good first challenger? Well, I mean, let me ask you this:
Yeah.
as a more broad form question. Do you think because Tiffany already interrupted that they're just going to like rush her to Backlash, or do you think it's just they're kind of keeping her in the conversation? What do you think?
That is actually entirely possible. I wanted to kind of point out that I'm not a huge fan of some of the language used by commentary during both of the women's matches that we got on the show, because we got this, and then we also got Bianca and Jade versus Chelsea and Piper. And for this match, when Naomi won, we had two heel color commentators and no babyface representation, and I felt it the most when Naomi won this match because they really emphasized that we should feel sympathetic for Tiffany without really doing anything to like praise Naomi or be celebratory for Naomi's victory at all. And it just really grossed me out, and it gave racist vibes, I'm not going to lie, cuz
Yeah, well,
both
you
of
and
the
I were even
heel
yeah.
color commentators are white guys.
Yeah, dude, we were even kind of talking about this in Rocket League, and you know that I stopped myself from going too deep with it because I knew we were doing this, and I even said sometimes I feel like our audience like misses out on some of our really best discussions while we're just casually gaming. And yeah, I definitely agree with you. It shows that like I prefer two-man boots, but if you're gonna have three, this is probably the instance to have three to balance out the heel commentary. Because with
Yeah,
no
you
face
needed
representation,
a baby face. Like, I fucking hate Vic Joseph, but even he would have made this commentary booth better because you needed babyface representation on this booth somehow.
I feel like Byron Saxton's the best babyface commentator they've got right now because
I love Byron, but he's also not a play-by-play guy. He's a color guy again.
yeah, yeah. It's WWE is doing so
This
many good things
entire
right now.
company has two play-by-play guys. It's
That
it's literally just Vic and Cole, and that's it.
bro, I still can't believe they let Tom Hannafin go. Like when we talk about commentary, I always think about that dude was there 10 fucking years. He
Yeah.
was dialed in to be the premier
I wonder if
play-by-play guy
Triple
when
H
Cole
would
was
be
done.
willing to bring him back because it was Vince that let him go. So I wonder if like his deal with TNA comes up, if Triple H would be willing to bring him back.
Oh, I if I was him, I absolutely would because he was smart to bring Kathy Kelly back. I love that she's back. And Jackie Redmond, I've actually grown to really like her too. I'm telling you, WWE is in this weird place where they're making a lot of great moves, even on the administrative side. I even joked with you like that they are really polished, more polished than I've seen them in some time. The theme music is my big bugaboo though. I
Oh my
hate the
god.
fucking theme music they're producing
Death
right now.
Rebel.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
deaf all right. They can't hear their
yeah,
shit. They need they need better ears or something. Come up with
bro.
better sounds
How do you ruin AJ Styles' theme? Like how do you like
by
what?
changing it.
I exactly. Um and yeah, like I don't know, but just to circle back because I had brought up the women as more of a conversational point rather than just like a quick touch on point. Bailey, it's good to see her as babyface again. God knows the crowd missed it. They gave her hard "You Deserve It" chance. She seemed very grateful. I
Bro,
feel
that
like
was
Bailey.
like the fifth "You Deserve It" chant this week. The crowds love that now.
Yeah, they do. And there's one crowd that I want to kind of rake over hot coals, but we'll get to them because
Raw?
I really did not like the NXT crowd
Oh,
this week.
NXT. Yeah. Okay.
The
Yep. I get it,
NXT crowd can eat my fucking ass, but we'll get to that.
dude.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I feel like Bailey on some level, like, is just surprised they took her back so quickly. It's just like, wait, I did all these things and I called you guys idiots for years, and you're just gonna love me? Well, yeah, silly. And then I don't even know. Maybe she did have to fight back tears. Like, oh my god, I didn't realize how loved I was in this business. But no, I'm happy for her. But again, like I love, and this is something else I'll commend all the shows for this week. I love that people that lost, like major champions that lost, you just didn't see them right away. Like that's so like because I remember when I was growing up and like WrestleMania's like especially 20 and 21 when Triple H was the champion and he lost the title. He would not miss a Monday Night Raw. He was always out the next night being
Well,
like,
dude,
oh,
that's even. I mean, even Cena, as recently as like 7, 8 years ago, Cena was. He would lose a huge match that, like, going into it, he would say is the biggest match of his career, and then show up to open the next Raw, smiling, running around, high fiving fans, and then the promo would basically no sell the loss.
yeah, exactly. So to actually see champions like sell that loss and to just be like, I'm gonna by the way, it almost makes me fear them more in a way. Like Roman, we already know like he's training, but I'm like, what is EO thinking right now? Because the only thing she tweeted that I saw, well, I think she tweeted other stuff,
Was
but
that
the
she
big thing she
lost?
tweeted, like, yeah, I lost. I'm like, oh
Lost?
no, that is a woman mentally falling apart. That is no, no, I'm not touching that. Good luck, everybody else. That's your problem now.
How long is the
Um,
pole?
beg pardon.
You said I'm not touching that, and I
Yeah,
said, how long is the pole?
45 feet at least. Cause yeah, ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. So when EO strikes back, which maybe that would be backlash because it's backlash, and I'm actually amazed that we're not doing like kind of automatic rematches.
Dude,
But I have
I
been thinking,
really I'm starting to lean towards Tiffany winning Money in the Bank too, because I feel like they might even do this story of like Bailey will retain against Naomi, and then Tiffany will think, well, clearly I'm next in line because I'm Tiffany, and then Io will attack both of them,
yeah,
and it'll set up for Io's rematch at Backlash. And they'll basically just drag it out to the point that Tiffany will be in the Money in the Bank match and she'll win. and that'll be like, "You can't ignore me anymore, Bailey. I'm cashing in." Like,
Yeah. Yeah, thought you could ignore me. I will not be ignored.
God, again though, it comes back to Tiffany Stratton is such a great fucking gimmick, and even a well-written character. Why couldn't they have picked someone better to portray her? Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Um Continuing with the women, I mean, Bianca and Jade, they're committing to them being a tag team. I will say, I think that is a smart play by WWE to have Jade in a tag team right now because
Yeah.
she was still so green when she left AEW for them, and that's not a diss. It's just being honest. And I feel like WWE is like taking it slow with her. They know the attraction she is. They know the value she has and can have, especially when she has more polish. Um, but, I think pairing her with Bianca is a smart move. Now, a couple things to talk about with this. First, completely out of pocket, but just to get it out there, as I explained to you during Rocket League, it was brought to my attention on Twitter that the YouTube video, when you go to a minute, I want to say a minute, either 35 seconds or 39 seconds, there appears to be a glitch. But when you go frame by frame, it's text that says, "You forgot about us," which seems to be, I know you and I were talking, I agree with you that it might be an Uncle Howdy teaser. The only reason I'm a bit tepid about that is because this was like a women's segment. So I wonder if it's some kind of women's act. But maybe, again, like I said, it could be Alexa as part of the whole Uncle Howdy thing because
Yeah, I
it is an
wonder if it's got to do with that. What was it going to be like, the Wyndham Six or whatever?
yeah, something like that. Something like that. So yeah, if you guys didn't know that, you can go on the YouTube video and see for yourself because I pulled it up for that reason. I'm like, oh my god, they're right. So I love that WWE is doing this kind of stuff. I will say, just talking about the Uncle Howdy stuff, because I've also seen before shows that they've aired kind of teasers for it, like music playing and stuff like that. Oh, God, it's so emotional for me because, and I'm not trying to be John, I'm not trying to, rake anybody. I really loved Bray. Like, I really, really loved Bray, even when other people were like, "Oh, this clown or whatever." Like, I remember the people that turned on him, which is why I kind of side eyed when everybody was like, "Oh, I always thought he was great." I'm like, "Uh huh." Like, I remember the tweets. I remember what people would say, but I always really liked him, and I like Bo too. But it's gonna be a lot to get me to emotionally go on for this ride because every time I see it, I'm just gonna miss Bray. And
Yeah.
that's kind of my problem is like, I feel like I'm gonna be withholding just because I understand that this is a beautiful thing and I support Bo so much and I think everybody should. And I think it's a beautiful thing and tribute they're doing, but I want Bray. And that just it's just gonna always be what I think about. So I'm very emotionally tentative about this because it might be good, and I hope that I'm big enough to like appreciate it for what it is. But I think my grief is definitely going to cloud my judgment. I just want to be honest about that with y'all. I definitely think my grief is going to cloud my judgment on this one. So I'm very curious what they'll do. But that's one thing. But then going back to the women, um, you know, again, I like that they're doing this stuff with Jade. My big concern, though, and you and I were kind of touching on this, people are speculating that this could lead to a Bianca heel turn down the road, and you and I both viscerally reject that idea. We both agree that if anybody should turn heel, it's Jade because she's got that presence and that aura that turning her heel would be very fucking believable. And Bianca has been such a mainstay in WWE that I don't think if they turned her heel, it would take. So I'm going to press pause here and give you the space to work. What do you think about these guys as a team? Are they definitively going to be the ones to beat the Kabuki Warriors in your mind? And, what do
Hmm.
you think if either one of them turns heel? What do you think about a program between the two of them?
I do think Jade is turning heel. Well, I shouldn't say I think it. I should really say that's how I feel the story should go. I think that Jade should betray Bianca at some point. Um, from a personal preference standpoint, I would definitely like it better if that happened before they even got a chance to challenge the Kabuki Warriors, because I feel like if this team does manage to coexist, no one will ever beat them ever.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say if they do end up challenging Kabuki Warriors, I see no possible way the Kabuki Warriors retain there. I just think that's it. Their reign's over.
Yeah, I have to agree, especially because I mean WWE, understandably so. Again, not a critique, but they have every interest in making Jade not only successful but dominant. Like the undefeated streak she had in AEW, I could see a kind of replication there, and that honestly should be the catalyst for Jade turning heel is when this team finally does lose, but Bianca eats the pin,
Right.
and then Jade's like, "Well, I don't lose, and you lost, so that literally makes you a loser. I'm not associating with you." And then she kind of does,
Really, I
her
feel like
loser.
really they almost need to break them up before they get to challenge for championships, because if they do challenge for championships, nobody's going to be like, what two name literally name two women in wrestling. I'm not even limiting it to just WWE, in wrestling, that could believably beat this team.
If I would give names, you'd have to turn them babyface first because I think Rhea could believably beat at least Bianca, but she's like in the Judgment Day right now, and that is a heel faction. Um, Liv did pin Bianca in the chamber, but let's be honest, she caught Bianca. It
Right.
was like, oh, out of nowhere, I'm going to roll you up.
Yeah.
If we're just talking a bell to bell matchup, it's really hard to come up with names. Like I really don't
Maybe
know.
like Rhea and Raquel if they gave them a mega push.
Yeah, but
But
like, how
even
do you even get
Raquel
the
is
two
like
together?
maybe even retired. I don't know because of the skin condition she has.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't
That's the
know.
thing. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like if you put the tag titles on these women, you might as well retire the belts because they're never losing them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting how they navigate this. There's a lot going on with the women right now, and really, we have to think too the draft because I cannot get too comfortable with these landscapes because they're gonna get shaken up with the draft, and I'm like, that's kind of what I'm trying to stay dialed in on, because only after the draft can I really settle into these new title reigns, these new tag teams, whatever's going on. Um, I will say too, things continue to get bad for Chelsea because again, like I said, Jade and Bianca beat Chelsea and Piper, and Chelsea already lost to Jade this past Monday on Raw. And Nick Aldis apparently came to a consensus with Adam Pearce that this coming Monday, Chelsea and Piper are going to be facing Kaden and Katana. So it's probably going to be another loss. But I love all the TV time that Chelsea is getting. I love how she's utilizing social media. I love how a lot of performers are utilizing social media right now, actually. Chief among them, Drew McIntyre, of course. Um, and again, that's why if Chelsea somehow finds her way in that ladder match, she's my emotional pick. She is my campaign by far. I adore her, and that's the kind of heel with that briefcase, especially because to be perfectly honest, I think she would fail her cash in, but it would be one of the failed cash ins that I she would make it legendary. I'm pretty goddamn sure. So yeah, but I'm thinking Tiffany, Jade's doing things. Who else is doing things is Braun Breaker. And going back to Def Rebel, I hate that they changed Braun's theme. I really finally started to love the NXT theme to the point where, like, I'll even kind of, work out to a little bit, whatever. And now they changed it, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, what is this? What is this? Cameron Grimes is completely directionless. You want to talk about the draft? I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I hope Cameron gets drafted to NXT because he never won the NXT title. I think, Cameron, even if he would come back as a heel because he would be jaded about how he was treated on the main roster, Cameron Grimes Trick Williams feud, I can eat at that. I can eat with that feud. So I'm gonna say right now, I hope Cameron goes back to NXT, and I wouldn't mind a heel run from him again, just because he was jaded on the main roster. Braun, I mean, I really don't care where he goes because Gunther is no longer IC champion. If he was, I'd have a vested interest in Braun going to Raw. But as it stands right now, wherever he goes, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna eat regardless. I just hate that they changed his theme. But yeah, this is another quick match. I mean, he's mowing him down, and I just gotta wonder when his first big challenge is gonna be. So any thoughts about this, Cameron, Braun, the draft? Where you'd
Yeah,
like to
it's a
continue?
shame that they don't have anything for Cameron. They just randomly kind of say, "Hey, Cameron, we've got a job for you to do," and he's like, "Oh, did you come up with an angle for me?" And and they're just like, "No, no, literally, you're doing a job tonight."
Yeah, dude. What the shame about Cameron Grimes is, I think people have forgotten. Hell, even me to a degree, I've forgotten a little bit, which is why I still occasionally watch the PWG stuff. Not only how great he is in the ring, but how great he is on the mic. I think if you were to look at Cameron Grimes, if you were just to take somebody and plant them in front of the TV watching Cameron Grimes, they would think like, oh, is this one of those local competitor type things? They would never assume that one of his greatest strengths is talking. And like, I hate that this dude has not gotten any extended mic time or anything. Like, hell, even when he was doing that goofy ass LA Knight feud with Ted DiBiase in the $1 Million title, he had a great promo when they were hyping up the ladder match for that championship that the crowd was like buzzing over. And you and I were even like, because great baby faces are hard to come by. And
Yeah.
he is a great baby face. He's also a great heel, though. I just want the dude to talk. That's why I want him to go to NXT because you have Trick beat Ilya after beating fake friend ass again. And then you have Cameron just, because what do they call him? Like the technical savage or the caveman or whatever, beat the crap out of Trick and be like, you know what? I'm taking my moments now because Raw and SmackDown, I was just, flittering away, like, idly passing time. Like, no, I'm done with that. I'm a wrestler. I want to wrestle, and I've never won the NXT championship and fucking do the damn thing. So yeah, I'm here for it. I hope he goes. I'm excited for the draft, man. I think this could really help a lot of careers, hopefully. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to look at SmackDown and seeing if there's anything else worthwhile to talk about.
You were correct, by the way. The Technical Savage is a nickname for him.
Oh my god.
Before WWE, he was the Carolina Caveman.
That's what Carolina came. See, there we go. I think we can move on here because again, bro, honestly, no. There are two people here. I should be respectful of you. I'm already of the mindset I do not want to fucking talk about Cody at all. He was insufferable this week.
Did
Is
you
there
see
anything you
he
want to?
quoted his wife?
Dude, we mentioned that in our Rocket League talk. You might not remember, but I said how cringe that was. Why are wrestlers making me cringe this week? Cody Rhodes, Will Ospreay, AEW really as a company, to be fair. Jesus fucking like relax.
Bro, he really waited 4 whole ass days. He waited until there were like probably even hundreds of miles separating himself from The Rock to finally clap back, and he didn't even have an original thought. He just quoted his wife.
Bro,
Jesus Christ.
Cody is making all of us look bad because it's a secret for most people, not just men, that we come up with our best comebacks a few days later in the fucking shower. You don't say the quiet part out loud, Cody is. What are you
No,
doing?
that's not how wrestlers are supposed to work, though. Wrestlers are supposed to come up with their best comebacks on the spot.
Well, listen, he's only a wrestler because of what his last name is. He didn't actually have any natural talent for this for the most
Oh, that's
part.
the problem, though.
God, look, just to touch on it, because I know, like, even, and I will say it, because, they did respond to me. Even people like Misfit were more or less, like, intimating, like, oh, your criticism of Cody's getting old. That's funny, because the title reign's already old, and it hasn't even been a full week yet. So, like, yeah, I'm going to
Bro,
keep
the
complaining
title
about this.
reign was getting old about 3 minutes into it
Yeah, dude,
when he was
yeah,
over celebrating with his family.
bro, I. Yeah, let's move on to Raw, and let's just skip the first
Bro, I was
45
gonna
fucking
say
minutes.
the first quarter of the show was codious.
Yeah, to say that I fucking hated
And
this. But we're not again though. I don't want to
the
get too
thing is,
mired into
dude,
this
his
because
first title defense is gonna slap too, because it's probably, I should say probably, because I shouldn't speak as if I know the future. I know I don't. It's probably gonna be against Allen, and Allen's matches always slap.
God, the power of the slack, dude. I believe in the slacks. I mean, Javoris and I we kind of have a private
Dude,
religion over the slacks.
he didn't even have slacks on last night.
Oh God, he's abandoned them because he knows. He knows. It's like, listen, this is a labor too great even for you. Fuck. Yeah, bro. Look, I'm just gonna say this because again, I just said I'm gonna skip this, and I don't want to be a complete hypocrite, but I will just acknowledge this about Raw. You say 1 hour commercial free. I understand that Cody was gonna open the show. I would have even accepted 20 minutes. And that's long, right? But I get it. I'm trying to be the adult.
20 minutes is
45
how long people who make fun of WWE say their opening promo segments are.
dude, when I really actually snapped on this, it really was the video package and him
That
crying to the
was
video package.
that was like
Uh,
10, 15 minutes in. That was early. That was early
yeah,
into the segment.
I know.
That
And
was
I
before
really
Dwayne even showed.
yeah, dude, I know. But like I think him crying to his own video package, like, "Yeah, that's me. I did that. I hate you."
I
I
was there, man. I remember that really did happen that way.
God, it reminds me because I've mentioned the show a couple times. You guys know it's one of my favorite shows of all time, BoJack Horseman. When they finally do the arc in like the late seasons, I want to say the sixth season, where he gets sober actually and he starts to get his shit together and he goes to this college campus and he hears music that he thinks sucks and he's like, oh my god, what is this is awful. Do I hate music? Moments like this I really question, do I like pro wrestling? And then I remind myself, like, of course I do, because there is a lot of great going on. Even AEW this week, for all the flubs they made, I'm loving what they're doing with Mina and Mariah. Like, that is my golden lovers hands down for sure. um but God, stuff like this is the stuff that you hide from your friends when you don't talk about that you watch wrestling. When they're talking about like, oh, I watched the latest Netflix show where I played this game. Like, yeah, man, yeah. What did you do? You don't admit that you watched Raw. No, you keep that to your damn self. At least the first 45 minutes. Like, no, you don't talk about this shit. This sucked. This absolutely sucked. But then though, I feel bad for you, bro, because we get beyond the Cody stuff. And what is the first wrestling match we get on this commercial free first hour? Shinsuke, ooh, versus Ilya Dragunov, who I know you're not a fan of.
I'd like
And
to opt out of my discussion half of this match.
yeah, absolutely. No, I got you. I got you. Um, Ilya wins after an H bomb, which is kind of like the kind of forearm that he does, the grounded forearm. Um,
They really
look,
had a white dude use a move called the H bomb on a Japanese dude.
oof. Oh God. Oh God, the optics. We sure Vince isn't back with the company. Jesus Christ. Um, God damn. God damn. So yeah, look, I don't mind Ilya in the ring. I actually can enjoy his match, especially with the right opponent. So I've been chomping at the bit for him to get a rematch with Trick. The character is a bit extra though. And like, if you're gonna push him strong, like, oh, let me make Gunther tap out again strong. I'm not here for that personally. So we're gonna have to see what happens. Um, After that, Judgment Day, they're fucking celebrating. Priest, look, as much as I love Drew McIntyre, and we will get to Drew McIntyre, trust and believe, I am happy for Priest. I've been saying, dude's been putting in the work. Dude had a great match with Bad Bunny at the Backlash in Puerto Rico. I think from that match alone, he deserved at least like a 3 to 4 month world title reign. And it's great to see him with it. He was rocking the suit. He dressed the part. I love it. Him and Rhea with gold side by side was great. Um, and he just talks about like how they kind of claimed WrestleMania despite losing the tag titles. And then, a priest said, the Terror Twins ruled WWE because him and Rhea have that special bond. I love their friendship. They're holding the titles, and then Truth comes in holding his share of the tag title. This dude keeps popping me meddling in the Judgment Day. I thought it would have gotten old by now, but only Truth would find new ways to keep it fun. Um, and Priest is like, more like, Truth, what the hell? It's like, oh, I brought the tag titles back to the Judgment Day, but it's gonna be weird because we got to get Miz, and Miz is like, Truth, I don't want to join Judgment Day, and then it gets to this whole thing. They do a 6-man tag where Truth says, oh, I got us a partner that you can't see. Wink, wink. It ends up, of course, being John Cena. The baby faces end up winning that 6-man tag. What combination of Judgment Day do you think is going to go after the title? Do you think it's just going to be Finn and Damian again, or do you think Finn may want to team with Dom and try that team out? Because I know Dom and JD are a tag team, but because I feel like Priest
You
is going to want to be
know,
just really focused.
part of me almost wonders if maybe Phineas goes after Sammy in the IC title while Dom and JD go after the tag titles.
Finn and Sammy, that's a fucking feast. I'm there. You dude, look, it's kind of a weird thing in the 12 community because I don't want to say that I'm the biggest Finn Balor fan of the community. I think that'd be a bit hyperbolic and pretentious, but I am a big Finn Balor fan. Like
Right.
I've gone to bat for the dude and stuff like that. I love Finn, man. I love how he works in the ring. I even think he's an underrated promo to a degree, honestly. So him working with Sammy, yeah, yeah, you got it. Especially because you already know my theory. I've already said it. KO in the draft. But if Finn would be a filler feud, because here's the thing. Speaking of Sammy, just to touch on that real quick, because I like to do that in this more conversational format. Sammy had a tag match against Imperium, Kaiser, and Vinci, Giovanni Vinci, and his tag team partner was Gable. Sammy got interrupted. The whole reason this match happened was he was cutting a promo, just talking about how amazing it feels to have ended the seemingly, indomitable reign of Gunther. And then Imperium interrupts, and they're like, "Oh, well, we're going to make things right, right now." Gable comes in, they have their tag match and they win. I love the finish, the haluva kick, but then Sammy allows Gable to get the win with the rolling chaos theory, which just looks beautiful every time. Then they have a backstage segment, and
Bro,
Sammy,
this backstage segment sent me. Sammy came off like such a dick until he made it clear he was joking.
dude, he did. He was like, "Oh, we're good now, right?" And Gable's like, "What?
I
No."
mean, I kind of let
And
you have all the spotlight, and you even got to win the match. Like, we're good, right?
yeah, Sammy reminding me how good he used to be as a heel. I'm like, "Don't
Yeah,
you do that, Sammy? Don't you make me fall in love
yeah.
with you right now? What are you doing?"
Of course, that was your reaction. God damn it.
Bro, when you're a good douche, like, there is nothing better to me than a proficient douchebag. Like,
Ugh.
God, it's ruining lives, man. Just amazing. But yeah, Sammy's like, look, I know what you want. I'm gonna give it to you because you helped me out. You want this Intercontinental match next week? Let's do it. But Raw just isn't anywhere next week. It's in Montreal, dude. That
And
needs
that
fucking
was
made
another
more.
dick move too. That's right. Sammy really did come off like a dickhead here.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like, we're totally even, right? Nah, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously though, I'll give you a title shot in my hometown. I mean, like, you can have your title shot, but let's be clear: is I'm getting home field advantage. All right.
God, wait, I need to just see something really quickly. Hold on a second, everybody, you beautiful people. Um, okay, yeah, he's 39 years old. I need Sami Zayn to do a dude bro gimmick. And I need his wife to be like Sammy, what is happening? Like you're 39 years old. We have a child. Like, I don't know what to tell you, Ma. Like I'm just kind of doing my own thing. You wouldn't understand. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the beach or what? Because just like yeah, there's just Chad dude bro energy with this dude that's got like a Mick Foley bod and is 39. Like I'm kind of living for it. Like I think it would be a far less offensive gimmick than fucking Big Larry that he used to do, which I'm actually seeing that as his top ring name on his Wikipedia page. Um, so yeah, just Sammy again reminding us what a great heel he can be, and I think that match is gonna fucking slap though. I mean, honestly, them just having a match bell to bell when the gauntlet match was already good, it might be a match of the year contender next week. Not gonna lie, because I
Yeah,
love like it's really excited.
definitely a reasonable expectation. I think.
Oh my God, Foster said, because I remember this when you first told me about this years ago. Sami Zayn next year. Yell at me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I forgot about that. I forgot that that was a thing. Oh my God, Foster, that was beautiful. Wow, I feel like I just, it was like experiencing Wayback Machine to pull that one out. So
Mike Gundy.
yeah. Um, Roxanne Perez beats Indy. I'm really liking Roxanne, man. She beat Natalia this week on NXT,
I
which I will.
loved the way that they told the story of Roxanne beating Indy because Candice tried to help Indy win by cheating, and Indy was like, "No," and then Roxanne cheated and it helped her win. So it's like the corruption of Indy Hartwell being told in an actual story, and I'm enjoying it. I don't
I
want
love.
her to get corrupted. I hope that she is able to overcome as like a morally righteous person still. But I'm thinking they're probably just going to end up turning both her and Candace, or I guess turning her and keeping Candace heel, and they'll just be a heel team then.
Yeah, she's giving in. She doesn't have the willpower to resist.
I
Like,
hope
yeah,
Dexter shows up and reminds her what it's like to be a good person.
she should divorce him when she turns heel. That'd be hilarious. Be like, it's not working out, Dexter. I probably just really hurt Foster though. I'm sorry. I've been doing that a lot this week because I've also been like Fallon Henley's turning heel and Foster's like silence. I feel like Foster and I might be coming to an end, and that gives me a lot of anxiety. Um, I know. It just God.
Wow.
I need to act right, man. No, I'm telling you, because I'm really starting to be out of pocket. I feel like with these heel turns and shit. Like I don't
Okay, but
know.
like you do hear yourself, right?
Yeah, he even said like,
You're
"Ow,"
like
like God.
you're like I'm coming to an end with someone because of my own actions. That's something you can stop from happening.
Yeah, I understand that, sir, but like I can't lie about how I feel. Okay, now maybe the Indian Dexter stuff because I'm even being tried for in a chat. Like, wow, what the fuck's wrong with you, John? A lot of things, okay, but yeah, like I don't know, because really, in all sincerity, in all seriousness, they should just use Dexter Loomis. Like I like him. I think he's got a great look. Works a simple enough style that's effective. I don't know why he's not being used more. I don't know if it's an injury thing or what. Um, but as far as the Valorant stuff, like, no, I can't lie about what I believe. Like, I fully believe she's turning heel. And as far as Indy, like, yeah, I fully believe she's going to be corrupted. Uh, oh, wow, don't put that on me, Foster. You know I love you. You know we can work this out. Uh, but yeah, no, I loved what Roxanne did really just all this week because she beat Indy and then she beat Natalia on NXT, which you know that I'm a fan of somebody if I'm willing to actively watch a Natalia match because I did not skip that. I actually watched it. And so, yeah, when I put Roxanne at number 3 in my Fave 5, you know she earned that spot because I was even tempted. I'm like, I could make food or I could do my teeth, but like, no, Roxanne's on and I want to see it. And yeah, I stuck it out and I watched it. So good for her there. But fuck Full Sail though, because the promo she had at the beginning, see, this is why you can tell when people are being genuine and you can tell when they're being disingenuous because when Roxanne first came out, it was like they tried to do the "you deserve it" stuff. Roxanne, being a heel, rightfully was like, "Keep it to your damn self. I don't need it, you mouth breathers. I needed you guys last year. You weren't there." Well, then when she wouldn't let them have their fun, they started chanting at her, "Shut the hell up." And I'm like, I don't even think that's because she's getting eat. I think it's because you got your little feeties hurt as a crowd and you're taking it out on her now. And then they chanted, "You tapped out" at Lyra, who's supposed to be the
Dude,
babyface.
I didn't understand. Like, what the fuck did she do to deserve that? Jesus Christ.
Oh, like again, getting back on serious stuff because I had my little playful stuff with the heels and everything, but being serious, like fuck Full Sail, bro. Like I hate this goddamn, and I feel like for a while I've let it slide. I've even kind of given him praise because I like how they've added to like Lyra's theme and Oba's theme. Whatever crawled up your collective asses, get over it because like that was so disrespectful. I really hated how they treated that women's segment. But I don't want to jump the gun with NXT too much. I only wanted to connect the threads because again, Roxanne was both on Raw and NXT this week. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, and Roxanne fully believes that she's going to be drafted, so it might be super awkward if she's not.
I know, dude. I really want Lyra to get drafted instead since she's not the champion.
Yes, yes, abso-freaking-lutely.
I'm expecting Ilya to get drafted, but I want him to drop the title to Trick. And then I want for Roxanne to go undrafted and for Lyra to get drafted.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and the only other thing on Raw, because Cody has took up so fucking much of it, and we already had a discussion, like, touching on Cody and The Rock during our SmackDown portion of the review, so we don't need to touch on it again, was the four-way, which I already mentioned that Jay won, but I guess the only other thing to mention is DM Hunk, and how he continues to just understand the game and where pro wrestling is going right now, and where Triple H wants WWE to go specifically. This dude he Drew really has become one of those guys where like I want him to have the title, but he doesn't need it because he feels more valuable than even some title holders right now. He certainly feels more compelling than Cody right now, but obviously I'm gonna have that opinion because I hate Cody.
Yeah.
But God, Drew was great again. Like I really was hoping. I didn't want him to sober up and be like, "Oh wow, the consequences of my actions." I wanted him to be like, "Oh, the consequences of my actions. How dare you, consequences?" and triple down on being a hater. And he did. He did. And God, so good because like I love this too because it was a balanced promo. He genuinely thanked Seth and he put Seth over. I love that. Like his stuff with Seth is over. He beat him. That's it. It's over. But you know who it's not over with? CM Punk. It's not over with CM
Fildred.
Punk. Fucking Fildred. This fucking old ass dude. God, fuck. He pretty much says like, you had all this time to do something. You had all this time to do something. The moment I take my eyes off you, that's when you sweep my legs, you take off your brace, and you bash me in the face. And he says, you think it was bad before, tearing your tricep. And it's on site now. He literally tells him it's on site, and I agree. I co-sign, especially after the bullshit that led to the finish in that four-way. You're damn right, it's on site. I Punk was doing the whole Jey Uso motion because the reason Jey won was because Drew was going for the Claymore and Punk grabbed his ankle, and that allowed Jey to get the jumping kick, spear, splash, 3 count. Punk was doing the whole Jey Uso like yeet thing. Where is your tricep, motherfucker? Because if it's healed, I want Drew to kick your ass at Backlash. Like, I just want to get this over with because Drew is dialed in on Priest. He said, "You're nothing but a transitional champion. That belt belongs to Drew McIntyre." And he called him, which has been just quoted ever since endlessly, Bondage Undertaker. Well, also, alternatively, bisexual Undertaker, I've seen about Damian
I've
Priest.
also seen Cuntertaker.
That's also amazing. Um, and so, yes, I just want to say that Drew McIntyre is single-handedly saving professional wrestling. I know that that's hyperbolic because there are many great acts going on right now, but let me have this. And I just want to thank
Bro,
DM Hunk for
I
the
don't know if you were
amazing work he's
saying
doing.
that to protect yourself against me, but I agree with you.
Dude, dude, when you look at his social media impressions, it's amazing. And he's got that movie coming out with Batista because he's going to be one of the assassins in Batista's like upcoming movie. Like, Drew's finally getting that bag, man, and he fucking deserves it. I'm happy
I
for the
didn't know
dude,
that Drew was
man.
coming up in a movie. That's pretty cool.
Dude, yeah, like, and with his look, you can't tell me that that dude couldn't succeed in Hollywood. At least as like
Oh,
whatever. I
I
don't
would
know.
never even attempt to.
Exactly.
It
And
would be
then
so rude of me and
I
incorrect.
yeah, Ashton's like, I don't like being either of those things. I'm a wholesome being and I love facts. So like,
Whoa,
no.
whoa, whoa. I don't know about all that, but I appreciate the compliments.
I mean, I think you're pretty wholesome. But
But the
yeah, dude.
bean part was a little weird.
Yeah,
I am not
but
an Among Us player.
that's very true. Um, but yeah, Drew's killing it. I love him. I love what he's doing on social media. Like, this is a guy that even if he is being sincere in his criticism, like even if he doesn't really like CM Punk, even if he was like, I think him coming back is an embarrassment. Like, I don't like the dude. He has got to be the biggest consummate pro of all time because he's able to have his cake and eat it too in a way that's enjoyable for all of us. I love it. I love everything. He can't miss right now. Everything he touches turns to gold. So I can't wait for him to get his title shot, mainly a Clash. You and I have already talked about, in Discord, and I think I've been in Rocket League. You made a great point that the Drew character is so fun to play with because it's not even guaranteed that he would win at Clash. He could lose, go on to Money in the Bank, win that because that's another thing in the promo. He said that that Money in the Bank is a joke. So then, if Cole's whole thing, that being Michael Cole, just to keep everybody aware, is that Drew's a hypocrite. What better thing for a hypocrite to do than win the very same thing that he called a joke and use it on a champion, be on the giving end of it rather than the receiving end.
And
Right?
he
Yeah.
fails. And then the following week or night or whatever, he's like, "You see, I told you that damn briefcase was a joke."
Yeah. Yeah. I yeah, like he's so good. And I don't know what his contract status is, if he got an extension or what. I'm assuming he did if he's still doing stuff like After Mania or whatever. And they did that whole win, but then get cashed in on, which just begs for more story.
Bro, I
Um,
feel like I can write the Drew promo now. Be like, "I'll tell you exactly why I failed the cash in. It's because I'm not good enough at being a damn coward."
yeah, yeah. God damn.
I'm telling you, dude, this kid's so fun to just write his shit.
No, it is. He's got such a great character. Um, and Foster said your Drew McIntyre impression is definitely above average. So wow, a lot
Wow,
of love
thanks,
going on.
Alex. I would take I would take that compliment from just about anyone, but it's extra special coming from you.
And bro, you already know. Now I wanna give hold on a second because I'm not gonna end the Drew discussion until I talk about this. Uh, because yeah, like this was nuts. What was their Twitter handle? Okay, at Psych Design TVTO, Tiffany E, I guess is their name. They did a fucking TikTok where they're screaming at their television at Drew at
Oh
Mania.
my god, where they're
All
like,
you had
all
to
you
do
had
was
to
leave.
do was leave.
That's
Yes.
all you had to do. Dude,
Bro,
Sean
did you see
posted,
Drew reply to it?
yeah, and he was a fucking king about that too. I need to bring this woman into my next fight camp. Unrivaled passion and insight will
Yeah,
be vital.
I know. I fucking love him.
He's not missing, dude.
I
He's
know.
not missing, like, at all. And my favorite part of Tiffany's video, or again at Psych Design TVTO, was when Damien gets the South of Heaven, and she's like, "Game time, count it, bitch!" And they count it. She's like, "What did I tell you?" Just fucking loses her mind. I'm like, "Oh my god, wrestling might actually be cool again," unironically, and
It
because
is,
of
dude.
people like
I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna last now that The Rock isn't around anymore, but for that one pocket, those like 2 months that he was around, and maybe for a little longer, but I don't know how much longer, it's been pretty fucking cool again for sure.
And bro, we'll both say this: Drew's trying his damnedest to keep that momentum going. Because I
Yeah,
feel
well,
as
he
far as like,
is, but he's
yeah,
got a lot to go against, namely Cody Rhodes.
oh god, dude, when you have
Cody is
like,
working his ass off to make wrestling uncool again. Cody's like, no, wrestling can't be cool. Then all my hardcore fans aren't gonna like it anymore. No.
yeah, bro, I know Roman was fine doing business, and we've even seen photos of him like smiling with the 3 count, like to give Cody this rub, even though
Yeah,
Cody is like what 38, maybe he's also
yeah.
39, like Sammy.
Oh,
Um,
he's. Let me look. Cody Rhodes, 38. He'll be 39
yeah.
in June, June 30th.
S- So like, whatever, I guess. But I know Roman feels one way, so obviously I'm not speaking for him, but I will say I feel for Roman, even if he doesn't feel for himself, because you worked so hard for this exact moment, for wrestling to be cool again, and this is when the title gets dropped to a fucking dweeb.
Yep.
God, Drew McIntyre, save us, please. But yes, that was Raw, which
So, what do
only.
you want to talk about?
Oh my god, oh
He
my
thinks
god.
he's so fucking clever, bro.
And bro, speaking of dweebs, okay, because we only have NXT left to talk about. I don't even know if you want to touch about on AEW after this. I already said what I wanted to say, that they're a goddamn joke, and I really like. You're in the fucking mud after this AEW. I can't believe the shit you pulled this week. And you better thank the gods that Mina and Mariah exist, because they're carrying your fucking asses.
True.
I've just got to say, speaking of dweebs, I can't believe. I understand that Braun's going to get called up. Baron might even go with him. I don't mind Wolf Dogs on main roster. I just want Braun to have that single success, but it'll come. He's young. I'm in no rush. But you're really going to give the fucking tag titles to Axiom and fucking Frazier? Really?
Even this match, Frazier specifically, annoyed the shit out of me. That dude needs to slow the fuck down before he injures himself or someone else or both.
Yeah, dude.
Like, if your gimmick is going fast, your entire career is built off of something that's going to end up injuring someone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hated this whole thing, to be honest, because right from the jump with how they got their rematch, you see them backstage begging Ava for a rematch. Oh, we were so close. What is this bullshit of, oh, I came close? Let me
Dude,
tell you
this
something.
is what the boomers mean when they talk about the fucking participation trophies.
Yeah, yeah, you're giving ammo to the boomers. I fucking hate you people. Like, oh my god, we're in an age now. Triple H has said years ago, oh, we're not for champions, for fucking champions. We're not doing automatic rematches. Roman is not getting an automatic rematch again. AJ is probably going to be his challenger. You weren't even champions going into this, and you lost. What the hell? Like, dude, I hated this. I hated the whole premise of this. I couldn't get into the match because I hated the whole premise of this. Um,
I don't think I even paid
and
attention to the match, honestly.
yeah, and dude, just when you think it couldn't get any fucking worse, fucking AOP and Cross in NXT, they jump the ring and they fucking take these guys out. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
NXT's tag division is dead now.
yeah, absolutely.
And I know it might not be actually like literally dead because there are still teams there, but I mean dead to me.
Yes. Yeah, no, same. Same. You put these two fucking jokes as tag team champions, and I get that they have their fans, and I'll always respect their fans because I feel like Foster might be one of them.
Yeah.
And like, yeah,
All love to you, Foster. We aren't trying to take shots at you. It says it's not a personal thing on you. We just don't like the performers.
exactly. No, I love Foster to death. I'd give him a fucking kidney if he needed it, but I can't. No, like these fucking again, the whole premise of how they even got this rematch. At least, what would have been even more inspiring for them as baby faces if Ava would have said, "Okay, guys, you know, I'll give you a rematch, but you got to earn it." and you're gonna have your match the same night that you earn it. If you can win, say this 4-way or this 3-way, or even just a standard tag match, um, then the same night you face them, and then to go the distance and win those 2 matches again as babyfaces, especially being of smaller stature like these guys are against the freaking Wolf Dogs, it would build more sympathy, and it would be, again, continue that whole theme of WrestleMania and Philly, Rocky Balboa, all that. But you have them beg for it, get it, and then that's just when they're able to win. It's like, God,
Bro, did you see Alex's comment? He said, "I have 6 kidneys lying around. I'll be fine."
the very sadistic part of me is very aroused that that's a thing, but also the very concerned part of me has questions that I'm not going to look for the answers to right now. But yeah, NXT Tag Division in the freaking mud to me after this. Fuck Cross. Well, all those pain. I don't even necessarily like loathe them, but they're associated with Cross, so that's gonna dock them a few points.
Well, and let's
Um,
be real too. I can very distinctly remember the authors of Pain coming into the NXT tag division the first time at a time when the NXT tag division was at literally the highest point it's ever been, and they made it worse. I don't want to say they killed it. Maybe they did, but I don't want to say they did. But they objectively made it less interesting. They made it worse. And so, like, this is basically now the second time in their careers that they've been subtraction by addition to the NXT tag division.
yes, yes. Um, So, before we get to the one big thing on NXT, I do want to talk about some of the stuff in the middle that I did miss because I was AFK for a part of this show. So for one thing, Stacks and Crucifino beat Kemp and Bourne. I'm worried about no quarter catch crew given the Drew Gulak allegations made by Ronda Rousey of sexual harassment.
Well, his name wasn't even on the Tron this week.
Yeah, Gulak was not on NXT this week. I'm thinking they might have terminated his employment,
Yeah,
possibly.
yeah.
Uh,
Well,
which
terminated his independent contract.
Yes. I'm not even gonna touch all of that, keeping it to the wrestling and keeping it to just recapping the actual show. There is an opportunity here. We're gonna see how good Charlie Dempsey really is, because to me now he's like the de facto leader of No Quarter Catch Crew.
Yeah,
And like I like him. I hope he knows how to swim because this is the biggest test that he's had by far. Because I'm pretty sure everybody was kind of comfortable with Gulak being the anchor for good reason because he is like a long-standing vet and stuff. Um, but yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know. DBK, we'll get to that. We'll circle back to that actually. Now that you mentioned that. But I'm really worried about no Quarter Catch Crew in their future. Again, they did lose to Stacks and Crucifino. I still do like the family. I wonder what D'Angelo is going to do now because we know the NXT title picture is starting to come into sharper focus a little bit. I still think ultimately he will be turning heel relatively soon. We'll see. I don't see them being called up in the draft. I'll tell you that much. Here's my question to you though, Ashton. When it comes to the stuff that I missed, how do we think, or what do we think about Ivar versus Obafemi down the road?
I am genuinely excited about it. So Oba, I'm excited about him. We've done multiple um, fantasy wrestling drafts. I think we basically did two Easter weekend, so it would have been 2 weekends ago. We did one on Saturday, one on Sunday. Or actually, no, we did one on Sunday, one on Monday because of Abel not being able to show up for the Sunday one. So we just did a whole extra one on Monday just for him. And they were both awesome. They were both a lot of fun. But Obafemi went in the first round of both of them. And he got drafted by different people in both of them. So I think that really goes, and I was one of them. I think I took him like third overall in the second one. So like, I
Yeah.
think that just goes to show you how high this dude's stock is. Both in my mind specifically because I did draft him very highly in the first round of the second draft, but also just kind of in general in the eyes of at the very least our fan base, if not NXT fans in general, if not wrestling fans in general. Dude is all all that you need really from a wrestling prospect. He's got everything. And we here at TwitWoW have pretty much always been big fans of hoss fights. The old Big E phrase, big meaty men slapping meat. And
Yes.
that is looking like what we're going to be getting here. and we got a little tiny sneak peek of it where they did have a physical interaction, and it was pretty compelling, I will say. It was pretty interesting. We got Ivar doing the old cartwheel escape out of an Oba attack. He did a springboard crossbody that actually took Oba off his feet. So yeah, like Oba was clearly caught off guard by this dude's size and agility. He's not used to facing people that can move like him at a weight nearly matching his.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited for it. I love that Oba gets to challenge like main roster meat already. 'Cause
Yes.
that tells me how into him WWE, like the WWE brass are. They're like, hey, let's take off the training wheels now. Let's see how you do against our meaty undercard. Because hey, dude, before long, I wouldn't be surprised with how obsessed the Bronson Reed character seems to be for winning some kind of championship. Maybe he'll even face Oba for the North American title at some point this year.
Yeah.
Like I really just feel like WWE just wants to let Obafemi loose. I am all for this. And honestly, good for Ivar for landing on his feet after Rowe just, I don't know if it's an injury or if they just straight up let him go. But Ivar is a singles act. I never really thought I'd see it, but he's made it work.
Well, dude,
Um,
even in ROH, he had an opportunity like this, and I believe that as Hanson, he is a former ROH TV champion.
yeah, yeah. Dude can go, man. He's got a motor. So I'm very excited about this. Um Jada Parker versus Brinley. I didn't see this either. Any thoughts about this?
No
I didn't really think.
thoughts. I mean, yeah, no, that this is it was it's a good match to have because they're both green and they both need seasoning. But because of the fact that they're both green, I wasn't overly interested, and I ended up not really paying much attention to the match.
Yes. Um yeah, and we got more Ariana Grace, but nothing really to talk about there. Trying to see if I missed anything else
Dude,
big.
Ariana Grace cracks me up. She is hilarious.
Yes. Oh, how I almost looked past this magnificent young man. By the way, Kiana James and Izzy Dame did beat Fallon Henley and Kalani Jordan.
Yeah.
Really, really liking Kiana James, guys. She's probably going to be on my next NXT Fave 5 for sure.
Yeah,
She,
she's really, really good.
yeah, she might even be low key like a revelation of the year for me because I feel like I've only really started paying attention to her and I'm like, oh my God, she's good. Um, Javon Evans.
Yes.
What do we think about this dude, man?
I'm already a fan. I know that. Dude
Yeah.
is spectacular in the ring, very talented. I mean, he already said he was bouncy, and I mean, yeah, he went out there and he bounced.
I will say that this match was happening when we in the Discord, like me and I think Foster, were kind of catching you up on the Gulak accusations by Rousey. So I was kind of divided my attention on this.
Oh,
Um, but what I saw, I liked. I think it's a huge compliment in an age where everybody's doing flippy shit. Where Javon kind of brings an energy back to it that makes me like it again. Because I've gotten so tired of it, but there's a likability to him, and he's so young.
dude, I
I'm
know that the comparing WWE and AEW is kind of a lost cause at this point, but it really does kind of give like early Dante Martin vibes because we've kind of discussed recently, like over the last few months, how ever since Dante Martin got that horrible broken ankle from that unbelievably ill-informed decision to do the flipping pile driver off the top of a ladder through tables to the outside of the ring, broke his fucking ankle or broke his leg or whatever. It might have been both, honestly. He has lost a step or two, and he just doesn't move quite the same as he did before. He doesn't have quite as much bounce in his step or as much speed. And it kind of makes me wonder if like maybe he hasn't fully injured or if it's like a mental thing where he's just hesitant because he doesn't quite trust his leg anymore. Javon Evans is pre-injury Dante Martin with more charisma
Yeah,
and younger.
even and I mean, dude, 19 years old, and like Foster was the one with this comment because I know Javars has been putting him over as well. So, like, obviously, Javars is all about it. But I wanted to zone in on Foster's comment specifically because he said, I like his personality. He feels so genuine and likable. He may be an eternal babyface. And I don't mean that in a bad way. And, like,
No, it's more like a Kofi Kingston fun. Like you just want to see this guy win and root for him kind of way.
Well, yeah, like, how do I say this without coming off so old? Fuck it, I'm 32 and I'm just gonna own it, I guess. He really does seem to be a wrestler for the Zoomers and, like, not in a bad
Yes.
way.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
yeah,
absolutely. He is. He is a fun Zoomer character. It's good.
yeah, it is. It is. And I'm like, man, this really is WWE thinking forward. And yeah, man, like, I'm still waiting for Wesley to come back. And I feel like Javon and Wesley, maybe they'll even be a temporary tag team. Maybe they can even be opponents one day. Like,
Oh, dude, that tag team would be sick.
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm telling you, black wrestling fans, this is your fucking era right now, man. I like Oba, and now we got Javon Evans. Wesley's gonna be coming back, hopefully soonish.
I don't
Um,
expect him to be coming back soon. I would expect if he comes back this year at all, it would be towards the end of the year, like, no earlier than September, probably.
yeah, I mean, but good things are happening. Good things are definitely happening. Scripps didn't even look bad in this either. I want to give Scripps his flowers just for a second. Like he
Yeah.
looked good in this too. I
Scripts is
like
fun.
out the mud. What was that?
Scripts is fun.
Yeah, he is. I like Out the Mud, man. OTM's a good group. Um, yeah, and just I don't know. NXT they've got a lot of good moving parts right now. So yeah, again, I already talked about the tag match with Fallon. Tatum has officially broken up with Lyra. That
Dude.
that felt
Because you are more invested in this than anyone I know. What did you think about this segment?
Oh wow, I'm flattered that you would throw the question to me because you're right. I was really about what is it with me and Sapphic Jace relationships right now? And I mean, there's not much of Jace about Mina and Mariah right now, but I'm also loving that. Um,
You never know.
gotta be honest, man. Thought it was a bit rushed. Thought it was a bit rushed. Like it just seemed a bit sudden to me. Especially when Lyra didn't even play that much of a part in the excuse me, when Tatum didn't play that much of a role in the finish at Stand and Deliver. For her to just come out and be like, oh, it's not yours anymore. Like, I guess Lyra just losing the title shattered her illusion. But here's the thing: she had a segment with Lyra at Stand and Deliver after the match where she tried to apologize and Lyra was like, not now. Why didn't you just attack her then when like your illusion was shattered that like Lyra's the center of the universe? I don't know. Like it was a bit off to me. However, I still like both women. I the funny thing with Tatum, and again, I want to be very careful with my words here because sometimes I do want to make comparisons, but I can never really make comparisons with my whole chest. I'm always very like I hedge my bets kind of thing. But Tatum does low key give me Chelsea Green vibes and her ability to play these characters because she wasn't always this character. And I wonder like what Tatum's range is. And I definitely wonder what this specific character, what the next step is. Because I definitely think her and Lyra are gonna have a match. But Tatum still seems a bit green. Like I don't know if I could buy her beating Lyra. So I would have if they do have that match, Lyra go over.
Yeah.
But then again, like maybe they wouldn't because Lyra is going to be drafted
Well,
and Tatum
maybe
obviously
we could
isn't.
even do like Tatum versus Lyra, but Roxanne causes Tatum to win so that it's not like Tatum beat Lyra on her own power. She just got the fluky win because of help.
Exactly, exactly. Um, and I gotta be honest, man, characters like Tatum, though, are why I'm so happy we're getting a women's North American championship because when somebody even floated, like, oh, Tatum for North American champion, I'm like, I don't hate it. Like, I think Thea's gonna win it, and I wouldn't mind Thea. My big emotional pick is Kiana James. I just really like her.
Right.
I actually no, my biggest emotional pick is always gonna be Ariana Grace. But then if I'm really looking from a well-rounded standpoint, definitely Kiana. And yeah, Tatum, like they've got a good division for this. Unlike the women's tag titles, this feels more organic and this feels more needed. I'm
Yeah.
really excited for this.
Yeah.
Um, and speaking of that, just to touch on Thea, because I believe it was Super Blue that brought up Chase U. In fact, yeah, I'm just seeing his message now, Chase U. Thea finally learned the truth about the whole, towel gate at Chase U because she's been holding that over Andre Chase and finding out because JC told her to her face that yeah, he threw in the towel because of you, because he bet on you winning the NXT Women's Championship, but he didn't want you to get her because he cared about you more than he cared about the university. And then Thea's like, that's not true, is it, Mr. Chase? And of course, he doesn't deny it because Chase U takes all of their best inspiration from the 90s sitcoms. And it's like, oh, but Thea, and then he's not able to explain himself. So I am 100% convinced it's JC, it's Thea in the finals for this title, and Thea wins, bringing it all full circle. Like, I did it, Mr. Chase. Chase, you, we're fully back on top. We don't need JC anymore. Whatever. And yeah, I mean, speaking of the women's division and everything right with the women's division in NXT, you've got Kiana, you've got Tatum, you've got Lyra until the draft. Roxanne is amazing right now. Obviously, I had her at number 3 in my fave fives. I'm loving her right now. But even JC, I really did not care for JC for so long. I never cared for her in Toxic Attraction. I didn't care for her after the immediate breakup in the Gigi feud. She's really come into her own with this JCU storyline. I agree with you about her promos because I know you've commended her for her promo ability, and even her matches have gotten decent enough where I can watch them and not be like, "Ooh," she's definitely gotten rid of some of the greenness she used to have, which is the whole freaking point. So yeah, JC's good too. I think NXT is kind of an understated women's division right now. I'm not going to say it's the strongest thing going. I'm not going to boast like they do. Oh, we've got the best women's division in the world. Like, relax. But I definitely think you've got a lot of worthwhile parts for sure. Um, don't think there's anything else to talk about with NXT though. Is there anything else you want to touch on as far as NXT goes?
Um, that's a really good question, actually. Let me pull up some results real quick and just make sure that we've covered everything that I'm interested in covering. I'm good on that, good on that, good on that, good on that. We got that, we got through that. I think we're good,
Well, actually, no, we
actually.
just didn't. Yeah, I can't believe. Yeah, I saved this for last, and I was almost about not to talk about it. Trick Ilya, obviously.
That was the final
Um,
segment, yeah.
yeah.
I
So
literally just got to that as you brought it up.
yeah. So just to touch on this very quickly. Oh yeah, Javaris, we talked about that from the jump, bro. That was our opening segment, my dude. You really think my pants were gonna hold it in to talk about that? Yeah, Jimmy was item number one for me at least. So yeah, you did miss that. You're gonna have to go back when this is like on demand and listen to that if you're so inclined. I didn't really turn up that much, though. I actually thought I was pretty well behaved, if I do say so myself. Um, but yeah, with Ilya and Trick, long story short, Trick wanted another shot. Ilya actually said, "No, because I already beat you." Yeah, okay, Ilya, but you know why you beat him, though, right? Because fucking Mello chop blocked his ass. Real babyface of you, dude. Great stuff. But he said, "Fine, if you want another shot, you're going to have to risk something. At NXT Spring Breakin', when I beat you, you're going to have to leave NXT." And Trick's like, "Oh, okay, let's do it." But then fake friend ass attacks because Carmelo lays him. Dude, I know. I was sighing internally too.
I don't
And
like
then,
the way they handled this, by the way. I need to like voice my opinion on that right away.
oh, go deeper. What would you have preferred in your ideal situation?
Mello versus Trick, career versus career. NXT, loser leaves NXT.
Oh, right. Because I feel like you've said that before. So I'm glad you brought that back.
Yeah, like I feel like they need to get rid of Mello out of NXT before Trick challenges Ilya again. Because at this point, Trick challenging Ilya with Mello still around, you just know Mello's gonna cost him the title.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, not only does Mello have the opportunity to cost Trick the title, he has an opportunity to get him out of NXT entirely, get him out of his hair. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. Because Mello just lays them both out, poses with the title like he did something, which you didn't.
Yep.
Um, And then he's like, "You're not." Oh God, Melo's a great heel too because I hate him too. It's like you're not making it to spring breaking because next week I got your ass in a steel cage and like,
Sucker.
yeah, he did say sucker. I didn't know, dude. Here's the thing. I thought he said sucker, but I didn't want to be like racially like, wow, of course you put that in his mouth. But I thought he said it because the whole Booker T thing, and he did say it. Thank you. Thank you, because you really unironically helped my sanity there. Sucker. And I'm like, oh, this trifling ass, coward ass. Fuck. Dude, one of my favorite parts, honestly, when I'm able to make it to these fucking shows in the Discord, is just going in on Mello with Sean. The two of us just tag teaming his fucking ass, just reminding him that he's nothing. You're still better than Jimmy Uso because you're more than a twin. You're not even a twin, and so you can't coast on that. So you actually had to, develop an identity, and so you did, and I appreciate it. But god damn, man, God, the again, trifling ass, coward ass, which thank you, Sean, because originally I went through a whole bunch of things, and Sean was like, "You forgot coward ass," and I'm like, "You're so right." So yeah, Melo's the worst. You didn't know how to be a friend. You never were a friend. You're fake as hell. Hope you get your ass beat again in that cage. Although something tells me that Melo's just gonna win, possibly. And that are we even gonna do like a triple threat maybe at spring break? And I don't know. I don't know. But like, yeah, what a fucking hater. Not even making it sexy again, unlike our Lord and Savior DM Hunk. Just God, Melo, why? Why? So yeah, that was NXT definitively. Um, I'm probably going to regret this, but I am going to give it to you because I know it wasn't a momentous week. Did you want to say anything about AEW or talk about anything from AEW? Just anything.
Well, we already kind of briefly touched on the Mina Mariah stuff,
Yeah,
and
which was
that's
beautiful.
really the only thing that I would want to talk about at all. Honestly, I think AEW. That's I got home on Wednesday night right as Mariah pinned Anna Jay in that match, or not Anna Jay.
Yeah.
Was it Anna Jay? I forget. Was it Anna Jay or Julia Hart? I forget.
Uh, I thought it was Anna J that I thought that I heard, right? Or
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I
yeah. It was
honestly
Anna
am.
Jay. It was Anna Jay.
Okay.
So yeah, I got home right as Mariah pinned her, and then Anna slapped on her little like rear naked choke move. It's called the Queen Slayer. Um, and Mina came out to make the save, and that was when we got like the champagne and the kiss, right? And then the main
Yes,
event was Samoa Joe versus Dustin Rhodes, and I'm not staying tuned for that shit, so I bounced.
bro. I just need. Okay. I feel like people are gonna hate me right now, and I have it
I
coming.
will never.
You say that. I need to voice a fear that I have.
Okay.
I fear
Wait, I think we have the same fear.
that Swerve's gonna lose and that they're gonna have
Oh.
Dustin fucking finish his story so that AEW can also boast about a Rhodes being a world champion. Am I a horrible person? Like,
Oh,
if
you're
people
not a horrible person. That's just hilarious.
do we? I'm guessing we don't have the same fear though. If you laugh like that, 'cause
Oh,
usually people
no,
jump
I
to
don't
the
have
thing.
that fear at all.
What was your fear? I'm curious.
That Mariah is going to betray Mina.
Oh, I've had no. We have that same fear. I was so dialed in on the Dustin thing. No, we have that same fear, and I don't. I
I
don't want to
honestly
hate.
thought that you were doing that thing you do where we ignore the things we don't care about and focusing on the thing we do care about, which is Mariah and Mina.
No, and that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. But no, I'm so horrified for Swerve that AEW is going to screw him out of this because it'd be like, wouldn't it be great if Rhodes were world champion at the same time? No, that literally sounds like like just a hemorrhoid that's shared between assholes. Like that just no, fuck. Um, but yeah, no, Mariah, she doesn't listen to this fucking show, but she does speak English, so I might send her the link. Don't do this to us, please. Don't because no, I watch wrestling enough. I know you know what I actually tweeted at Mariah since we're doing this. I was gonna tweet something at Joe Biden, but I can do that anytime. He's a piece of shit. He can go fuck himself. So I'm instead going to pull up what I tweeted at Mariah, who right now isn't a piece of shit because she's keeping her art open. I essentially said it might take me a while though. I'm on Twitter too much, honestly. But essentially what I said was look, you seem like you're divided, but just remember one thing. With Tony, she's always going to have an expectation that you walk behind her. Mina has only ever wanted you to walk beside her. Think about it. And I reiterate that here. Think about it. You know what the right answer is. Like literally, this isn't even that hard. This really this isn't like a Peter Griffin thing where he's taking the
Okay.
exam and he has all the animal sounds and he's like, "Oh, of course, that Al does say moo." No, it's so easy. Go with Mina. Be happy. Why do I feel like a heel turn's coming and my heart's not ready for this? My heart's not ready for betrayal. Think about that.
Would
No,
it even be
yeah.
a heel turn though? I feel like technically because she is aligned with Tony, who is, I think, a heel champ. Honestly, AEW's alignments are so weird; it's hard to tell. But I think Tony is a heel champion, and I think Mariah being aligned with her makes her a heel as well. So I think if Mariah were to betray Mina, it would just be like doubling down.
No. No, no, you're right. I'm saying no to the possibility of it. Now, I want to remind everybody, I'm fucking me. I don't even want to remember all the depraved shit I have said
Get your hand
in
out
the
of your pants.
long history of this fucking show. I know that anybody could cancel me with Eves just from this archive alone. I'm fucked. And even I'm like, no, that's a bridge too far for me. don't do this to me. I'm not gonna come back from this. This is going to break me in ways that I will never recover from. I'll be like the Tiger King, except instead of never financially recovering, I will never emotionally recover from this. It just I feel it coming though, man. I really do. I feel like Mariah's gonna do it, and then Mina's gonna be so heartbroken, and she might even cry because Mina, I think, does have those acting chops. And seeing Mina cry, I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna want to destroy the planet, and I'm gonna be like, does a world deserve to exist that would make Mina cry? And I think the logical answer is obviously fucking not. What's wrong with you that you said yes or even thought about it? And just I can't. Again, this is my golden lover stuff, but even the golden lovers, Kenny did betray Ibushi at first, and I don't know. I'm gonna need every shoulder to cry on when this happens. I just fuck, fuck. Let's be happy for Mina though that she's getting international exposure that she deserves because she's fucking wonderful and I love her so much. Holy
Yes, and
fucking shit.
Azumi got to wrestle Tony Storm tonight,
Yes, yes. Good for
and
Zoom Zoom.
I didn't really pay too much attention to the match, but I know people who did, and one person in particular said, and I quote, Tony's best performance in a while, which I think is a great credit to Azumi.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So I'll tell you what. Now that we talked about the things that are good and we acknowledge the things that suck enough to really count
I
as
mean,
us doing our due diligence, what
acknowledging the things that suck when it comes to AEW is enough to just be like, here are the things we liked, and that's just everything else.
all right. Well, with that, honestly, I'm gonna ask you just merely as a formality, but I'm gonna assume no because this week was fucking crazy. Anyway, did you do any extracurriculars?
Uh, I will say before we do move on to that, there was one match on Collision tonight that I think was worth mentioning: Shibata versus Moriarty.
Nice. Well, I know you're a big Moriarty fan, and I should watch more of his stuff because the
Yeah,
dude's got talent.
that was a really good one.
Um.
Also, there was a Battle of the Belts tonight. Apparently, um, no belts changed hands though.
Oh, well then, yeah. There you go.
So there you go. Anyway, yeah. As far as extracurriculars though, no.
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever a week to just be like an assume no, it would be this week. So, with that said, let's open up to questions, and I say that because Super Blue, I'm going to acknowledge your more question about the world title. How do you feel about Moxley winning the IWGP World Title? Good for him, I guess. I really don't have feelings about it just because I've been so checked out in New Japan. I mean, Suji won the
Bro,
New Japan Cup, but he lost his title match. So,
I
like,
feel like now is a great opportunity for us to acknowledge something.
of course,
Can we just acknowledge how fucking cucked New Japan is by AEW?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
can you, like, literally, I'm sorry, but think about this. Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, and the Young Bucks were in your company making you money, and they decided, you know what? I want to try and strike it out on my own. And that's commendable enough. Whatever, let them. So they go and cozy up to this billionaire boy over in Florida and they make their own wrestling company. And that's one thing, right? You've lost a core group of talent that I think genuinely helped contribute to making the New Japan product more compelling. And that hurts enough, right? But
yeah,
then they start snatching up New Japan talents. Ibushi went there, obviously. Now they have Okada. There are probably others. I mean, Jay White went there. Juice Robinson went there. There are probably other examples I'm not thinking of right off the top of my head. But, like, they're snatching up New Japan talents. They're basically doing everything in their power to try and copy New Japan's style in the ring. It's like a New Japan Dragon Gate hybrid, basically. And
yeah.
now, like, they're in this weird, awkward relationship where New Japan wrestlers can come in and occasionally show up on AEW television, but like AEW stars almost never actually go to Japan to work their shows. And when they do, the AEW people almost always win.
Yeah.
So like, you could have like so for example, like we had like last year, who was Sonata's opponent at Forbidden Door, bro?
Oh God.
Do you not
Oh.
remember?
Wasn't it Jack? Jack Perry, right?
It
Sonata and
was
Jack Perry.
Jack fucking Perry,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
world champion, New Japan's world champion, quote unquote, defended against Jungle Boy. And that match still went over 10 minutes. And
Oh God.
meanwhile, AEW's world champion, I don't think he even defended on the show, did he? Oh, yeah,
Don't
no, it
remember.
was MJF. It was MJF, and he defended it against the fucking ace. He defended it against Tanahashi, for fuck's sakes, and won.
Yeah,
So AEW is like, oh yeah, we'll both have our main singles champions defend. And you know what? We're going to even pick our opponents. And New Japan's just like, oh, that's great. That's great. You can have Tanahashi. He is going to put over your champion and it's going to be prestigious. And he's going to make your champion look like $1,000,000. And then Tony Khan was just like, I don't know who your champion is, but he's getting put over by Jungle Boy.
yeah.
What the fuck? Like, I'm sorry, but this is such an asymmetrical relationship. What does AEW provide for New Japan of value other than like a platform because they have a TV show in the United States? That's it.
That's you answered your own question. That's it. Like, yeah, I don't see it. Cast or sales? Because yeah, we got a lot of questions rolling in. This is gonna be a hot week this week because it is, post Mania and everything.
Oh, by the way, and
The
as far as how I feel about the Moxley winning the IWGP World Title, not super surprised. Um, I will say it's kind of embarrassing for Naito, and I'm very curious how long Moxley's title reign lasts because I do not expect him to still be champion by the time the G1 starts. So it's a matter of he's probably dropping it at Forbidden Door.
and I will say my sentiments actually I think are perfectly encapsulated by Foster. If Naito was gonna lose the belt so soon, it should have been to Suji. Could have told some really interesting stories with him and Naito with the Lij dynamic.
Right, but then
Yeah.
Suji would have had to defend the title at Forbidden Door against like Ricky Starks. And
Ugh.
now at least Moxley will be the AEW talent at Forbidden Door, and he will be dropping the title to like an actual star from New Japan. Like maybe it'll even be Tsuji. I don't know. Maybe it'll be Sonata. I don't know. But like whoever New Japan decides their next IWGP World Champion will be, that will be who Moxley defends it against because I assume he's dropping the title on that show.
Yes. So
So rather than having a garbage ass match where the IWGP champion and this like big time main eventer prestigious guy defends against a pipsqueak that people aren't as into, like fucking Jungle Boy last year, they're gonna have actual main eventers going against each other.
yes. Um Caster Sales, do you really think Jacob Fatu would be loyal towards Roman? I think in the interim he would be, but I think long terms he would be a part of like new bloodline or whatever the fuck.
I mean,
Um,
you're loyal towards who brings you into the business, right? Like if Roman
yeah,
is Jacob Fatu's door into just skipping NXT and going straight to SmackDown, I think that would, generate a lot of loyalty from Jacob for sure.
yeah. Um, Super Blue, how do you feel about the results of Mark Briscoe winning the ROH World Title?
We
I just
talked
gotta
about
call
this
it.
already, didn't we?
Uh, I think you and I talked about it separately, but not formally in this
Ah,
podcast. Um, I'm just gonna be honest, and I say this with all due respect. It does feel a bit pandering. Like I get that Jay passed away, and that is a horrible loss, and I feel for everybody that's always going to be mourning and grieving, especially Mark. You didn't need to do this. I hate when wrestling does this every fucking time, man. When somebody passes, like it just feels cheap to me, and it just feels very exploitative. Is really the word. We get it. He passed. I'm not trying to be dismissive of that, but it's the same thing, with Ray when Eddie died, and they milked the fucking shit. It's like let him rest in peace. You know, because I feel like you want to go, the show must go on, kind of thing. Well, then let the show go on. Because I feel like you're letting it go on, but then you're also kind of grinding to a halt when you do this stuff. And I'm sorry, but like I like Jay as Ring of Honor champion. I never thought Mark was as good in singles as Jay was. I always thought Mark Stroh was being a tag team guy. So him being a world champion, it just doesn't have that believability to me. And I know that's harsh, but that's just honestly how I feel. Did you have anything you want to say about this before we move on to the next
no,
question?
let's just move on.
All right. Amari 316. thoughts on CM Punk MMA Hour interview and the All In footage. I did not watch the CM Punk interview, and I watched a little bit of the All In footage because, to be honest, I think the whole thing's an embarrassment, Amari. I think everybody should be embarrassed of themselves. Tony Khan chiefly, but then CM Punk, and then I think Jack Perry like dead last. But he should also have some embarrassment. Like, you know, this is why you need locker room leaders. This is why I'm proud again of a guy like Samoa Joe who doesn't talk shit and just does fucking business.
Bro.
When there are people like fucking Guevara and shit that can't help but tweet everything that goes on. Like AEW is a clown show. Like that's really what it comes down to for me. They're pathetic.
I read a phrase. It's funny because this is all kind of ties together. It's like that. Not is it? It's not Dunning Kruger, Bader Meinhof, right? Where
Yeah.
like you start to like notice something, and then it kind of starts to take hold of you, and it like happens more and more. Everything kind of ties together, right? So I was just randomly scrolling Reddit one day, and I saw a line that really stuck with me. Never trust a man, a grown man, who refuses to apologize to a child.
Yes. Yeah.
CM Punk is 45 something years old, 45, 46 years old, and he fucking tried to get into a fist fight with Jungle Boy
Yeah.
over words and ideas. Like, never trust that type of person, honestly. Like, and the thing is, like, it's not just that he did it, it's that he knew he wanted to do it preemptively because he was even on the Ariel Helwani interview that is being referred to. He admitted to telling Tony Khan, "Hey Tony, take care of this Jungle Boy situation because if you don't, I'm going to have to, and you're not going to like the way that I take care of it." Which just, you already know what he has in mind when he says that. You already know that he wants to fucking fight the kid. This is a fucking kid. Like, I mean, I get that he's in his 20s, but still, like, he's an immature kid. And, like, obviously there has to be a level of responsibility taken by Jungle Boy, and we have to put obviously blame on him as well. But like, Phil, you're 45 years old. If you can't resolve an issue like this without fist fighting, look to your inner self because this is a you problem, dude. For real.
Yeah. Also, just because I saw this comment, I'm gonna have to go back up because we still have older questions. But I saw DBK ask about the ocean spray dig. DBK, you should know. You should know. You've watched enough of our streams to know how I feel about ocean spray. Literally, you called him ocean spray because I've called him ocean spray. I think he's an immature child. I think he's a fucking goof. I think he's an embarrassment. I think he embarrassed Renee. I think a lot of personnel at AEW were embarrassed by this past episode, and they should be. Like, God, he was so proud of it too. Like Osprey, I just feel like is every bit the person that I believe him to be,
Yep.
like out of quote unquote character. Just
Yep.
awful,
And the fact that he
awful.
is effectively a father now is real concerning. Like, kind of the way that I felt when we found out that Ty Conti was pregnant, and then like while she was pregnant, Sammy Guevara blew a bunch of the money that they were trying to save on like a rare collectible version of the N64. Tells you all you need to know about that dude. And this promo is like a similar moment with Osprey. It's like, yeah, that tells me all I need to know about this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, people who
Um
shouldn't be fathers 101 for real.
yeah, and Osprey, just to remind you, it's 2024, just in case you needed your time calibrated, because I don't understand why Triple H jokes like that are still being made in this fucking year.
I mean, yeah, I
Um
mean, to be fair, I didn't agree with the Triple H joke either, with the Triple H shot at Osprey either.
yeah,
But that doesn't, like, he said that in a way that if you're not obnoxiously online, like way too online, you never would have heard it. Like, you wouldn't even know about it, and it would just
yeah,
come off like Osprey is taking shots for no reason. But like, Triple H made a comment about how, like, if you're not prepared for the grind, like basically making one of those like, oh, the workers just need to be prepared to work harder and that'll be what we reward kind of jokes because of course, he's the fucking capitalist in this situation and that's what he's going to do.
yeah.
And Osprey took it to that point. Like, he took it to, oh, well, you're only in the position you're in because you're fucking the boss's daughter, bruv.
Yeah, oh my god. Oh my, I know you're just doing an impersonation, but I'm gonna need you to cut back on the Osprey impersonation because I just had a visceral reaction even to that, and it wasn't even the real thing.
I'm
I've
so
never
sorry.
felt like a violent reaction to your impersonations. I kind of wanted to punch you in the face, and I know it's not your fault.
That
So,
kind of gives me a sense of pride. Thank you. I apparently am really good at doing an osprey too.
and I just want to formally apologize to you for my violent urges because I know you are not your impersonations, but Jesus Christ.
Holy shit!
Yeah, no, that was the first time I really felt violence. Like I could hurt Ashton. Like, I just like fuck.
You're
So yeah,
supposed to
fuck,
want to protect me. What the hell?
dude. I agree. I agree with you. I'm apologizing to you. Do you hear me doubling down right now?
Yes, yes,
No.
yes.
Okay.
I'm reassured. I'm reassured. We're good.
No. But no. Like, dude. On some real shit. No, I wasn't even kidding about having that visceral reaction in person. He might be one of my most hated
Okay,
people in wrestling.
yeah,
Like,
I agree. But this is even more funny. Javaris just pointed out Triple H never even mentioned Osprey by name. He just made a comment about not wanting to grind, and Triple H said something about how like if you're going somewhere because you're going to make more money to work less dates, then I don't even want you because then you don't have the mindset to be here and do the grind and put the work in. He never mentioned Osprey by name, so Osprey is just assuming that Triple H is talking about him based on that comment.
he's so insecure. Men, stop being insecure. Challenge, please. I'm begging you. Fuck.
Difficulty
Um,
level impossible.
dude, I know. Um, okay. So going back to the older comments, I might have to close the gate when we get through the queue just in real time because it's a bigger week this week. Um, thoughts on people thinking Osmi might bring NJ into QQ. If that happens, do you think that's one step further at being the QQ leader? I'm gonna say this. Queen's Quest, I was thinking about the Vocaroos that I made for the Discord exclusive stuff after Stardom and Sunshine, the cage match. And I was thinking, man, I don't think I ever loved QQ more than that story beat of them just becoming just a powerful, loving faction. If you bring that shitter into Queen's Quest, it's going to start souring them for me. And I don't want to be in a world where I hate Queen's Quest. I really don't. I really, really fucking don't. If we could avoid that, that'd be just tremendous. So first of all, no. Because I like that Stardom has Gaijin members in their factions. That's not a new thing. But get people that are, I don't know, good. And then secondly, you know, DVK, I know you really seem to have this idea of Ozzy being QQ leader, and I want you to know that if we're talking seriously, I'm not opposed. I just feel like Saya is. I just feel like Saya is going to be the de facto QQ leader. I don't know though. They might do another election and Osmi wins that one. I don't know. I would be intrigued by an Osmi Queen's Quest, but I'll be honest. If she would bring in Anna Jay as a kayfabe move, I'd be like, not my leader. I'm pull kind of a Booker T there. So think about it, Zoom Zoom. Think about it.
I do want to just push back on you a little bit because if we're being real, if Stardom and AEW do have a working relationship going on, it's more of an actual relationship and not just like a one-way deal. If AEW people show up in Stardom too, and I know you said like get better people, but like Anna Jay is really young and they clearly like her, and I think sending her to Stardom would benefit both her and AEW a lot.
True, because we have talked about the Stardom training system. You think she'd actually
Yeah.
be a better wrestler after her stint with Stardom? Well, it depends
I
on
mean,
how long
almost
it is.
everyone becomes one. Like, yeah, almost
Yeah,
every Gaijin that goes to Stardom ends up being a better wrestler afterwards than they were before.
yeah. You know what? I'll concede, and I think it's a big deal for me to concede because I really don't like Anna Jay or
Yeah.
like anything going on there. But no, you made a salient point. I concede.
I don't know if you know how
Um,
young Anna Jay is. She's
yeah, I
Obafemi's age. She's 25.
okay. So yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, she's Utami's age. Shit.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Amari again. Um, how do you feel about the AEW releases from last week? Again, Amari, I really do not give a fuck about AEW. I didn't even know they had releases last week. I'm just gonna be. I didn't know people lost their jobs at AEW last week.
Oh yeah, it
Um,
was. Well, you. I told you about the boys, like the Tate
right.
twins.
Yes, you did about the
Yeah, it
boys.
was them. Let me actually see if I can find the rest of the list. There were like six dudes, I think, or six people. I don't know if they were all dudes. Um, Here we go. Stu Grayson from the Dark Order was released again. They actually just like they released him previously and then brought him back and then released him again.
Damn.
We know about the boys. Dasha Gonzalez, aka Dasha Fuentes, she was released.
Yeah.
Jose the assistant got released.
Oh, wow. Wow. I liked him. I feel like they could have done more with him even after Andrade left.
Yeah, I think that's why that they probably released him those because Andrade wasn't around and they weren't using him. Jorah Joel, Anthony Henry got released because he's injured. I think there's probably a lawsuit waiting to happen there.
Yeah, definitely. That's really scummy.
Gravity got released. I believe that's like the younger brother of Mystico or something like that, or someone along those lines. Um, Parker Boudreaux got released. Slim J got released. And apparently Matt Hardy got released at some point. I didn't even know about that until
That I
now.
think I did hear about, and I'm gonna be honest, like all those releases, I'm pretty apathetic for. The only ones that make me feel any like kind of response is more the leftist in me because I feel for the boys for why they got fired. And then yeah, you said Anthony Henry who was injured. That's the guy's name. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's absolutely fucked up. Um, so Caster Sales, do you think Cody and Dwayne will main event next Mania? It's looking pretty likely. You know, I hate to
And
admit it
100% in my opinion.
yeah, like I hate Cody so much. But yeah, it's probably gonna happen.
I find it, I honestly, I'm leaning towards Roman versus Solo in another match separate from that.
Yeah, then maybe that would even be the night one main event because I really do feel
I
like the two
sure as
night
hell
Raw.
hope not. I want the women to get that once finally.
Dude, I know. Please Bailey, because I know Bailey wants to main event a Mania so bad. I want that for her. I don't know who it would be against, but you know a
Has
lot can happen in a
Bailey
year.
versus Bianca happened at Mania already?
At a Mania, no, I don't think so.
Well, then that's what I want.
There you go. Um, Amari again. How would y'all feel about a Bloodline War Games match between The Rock, Solo, Tama, and Jacob versus Roman, the Usos, and Sami Zayn? Hey, if you write it well, you can take me anywhere. That's really
Yeah,
all I
I mean,
care
there's a
about.
lot of harm that needs to be reprimand or what's the word? Help me out, John.
Uh, redressed is one
Yeah,
word.
that's a word that works fine. But yeah,
Yeah,
if you write it well, you could get there.
yeah, yeah. Um, okay, I think we're getting close to being done here. Thankfully, there were a lot of questions. Um, and oh, okay, so Super Blue. Where should WrestleMania 41 be? Las Vegas or Minnesota? I feel like Las Vegas would be interesting. I feel like WWE with their production and everything, Vegas on the table. I mean, the aesthetic would be out the ass. They'd be flaunting that shit. They might even be able to do like a match or two on Mania weekend that like uses the roulette wheel. Reminds me of like Raw roulette and shit. Who knows? So yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you brought up those two places, Super Blue, because they're actually viable contenders. Honestly, I'll tell you this too, Super Blue, since we're on your question. I'm amazed. I would be amazed, honestly, if WWE didn't go international with Mania this year because they're doing so many international pay per views this year. Why not cap it off with Mania 41 next year? Um, I know the UK has been dying for a WrestleMania. I feel like they are closer to that than they've ever been, honestly, because like what the hell? So yeah, if we're keeping it in the states, I'd say Las Vegas, but if like everywhere is a contender because we didn't even get a WrestleMania 41 bumper during WrestleMania weekend, which honestly surprised me because I'm used to those bumpers for next year every year. I say give the UK their WrestleMania finally. That's my personal vote, but you know we'll see. What about you though, Ashton? Between these two options, which do you prefer? And if you could just pick any option for WrestleMania 41, where would you like to see it be?
Um, I would definitely go Vegas over Minnesota. Fuck Minnesota.
Okay, so we both agree then on Vegas. Yeah, I didn't expect the fuck Minnesota at the end, but there you go. And then if you could
I
have it
mean,
anywhere,
yeah,
where would
like
it be?
really, it's just because Tiffany Stratton's from Minnesota, so
Oh
I
god, so you
don't
know if they
want.
have it there, she'd probably win
Yeah,
the women's title or something.
exactly.
Fuck you, you. Um,
I
but
do
yeah,
want
if
to
you could,
address a comment from Javaris though. He said, "Also, Will, if you feel some type of a way about Triple H supposedly saying you're afraid of the grind, get your bitch ass in the ring and fucking grind." I really hate that mindset.
well,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, if you feel some type of way about Triple H saying that you're afraid of the grind, that's definitely not the response. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to put your body through hell and destroying it. And frankly, maybe Osprey should lean into that and be like, "Oh yeah, I am afraid of the grind. Maybe I'll only work one day this week, and maybe I won't even take any bumps in that match."
yeah.
Like, seriously, Will, fucking relax. Like, you really shouldn't be putting your body through as much as you put it through, bro. Because you're
Yeah.
like, Jericho literally said that I saved you from being in a wheelchair by 30. Maybe let's not make it a goal to be in a wheel by 40 instead. Like, let's
Yeah.
relax still.
Yeah,
And also,
exactly.
let's also make it a goal to not put anyone else in a wheelchair with that fucking Tiger Driver 91 you use.
Yeah, really. Um, Capitalism is just it needs to die. It just
Yeah,
needs to
grind
fucking
set
die.
mentality is one of the most toxic innovations of our lifetime.
Yeah, oh, 100%. 100%. Right along with because they're all kind of in the same constellation. The whole quiet quitting bullshit. Oh, you mean what's required of me to get a substandard wage? Yeah, fuck you. Um,
Well, no,
so
I mean,
yeah.
isn't the whole concept of quiet quitting though like doing less than what you're asked until they fire you?
Um, in some circles, yes, but I've literally seen bosses just treat it like, "Oh, you're doing what's asked of you, but you're not staying after hours. You're not putting in the work to make the company stronger." Yeah, because you're not putting the money in my pocket to motivate me to make the company stronger. So like,
Yeah, yeah,
fuck
I gotcha.
you. Like, dude, the structural gaslighting that we all suffer from is obscene to me. Um, so let's see. Are we all caught up? Server last follow up question: shouldn't Jade versus Bianca main event night one of WrestleMania 41? I feel like they're gonna feud much earlier before Mania 41 to even that be a concern. So I mean, I guess it's always on the table, but I just don't think so. All right, guys. Well, with that said, I'm gonna close this segment out because again, this is a really like popping week this week with questions. So let's get to high spots, low shots. God, it's quite a roster to choose from this week. You know what? It pains me to fucking say this. My low shot's Kevin Owens.
Oh, okay. You gave me
Y-
such a layup. I'll take it.
yeah, I know. We'll do it again. It was a big roster this week. I'm gonna say Kevin Owens because he ate the pin at Mania weekend, which is for the U.S. title, and then he
Ah,
somehow is in the conversation for a world title match. Which in kayfabe I don't understand. Even though I love Kevin, so I'm not gonna question it. But he lost that triple threat. Like it's just gonna be AJ versus LA Knight again next week. And so it's a rough time to be a Kevin Owens fan. I don't know whenever it's a good time anymore. But yeah, it's been hard. So who's your low shot?
I have three honorary low shots: Roman Reigns,
Yeah.
Jimmy Uso.
Oh, honorary for Jimmy. Okay.
Yeah, honorary for Jimmy, and Lyra Valkyria.
All makes sense. So who's your actual low shot?
Seth Rollins.
Oh God, yeah.
He
Yeah.
got his ass beat, bro. He 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 was on the losing team on Saturday. He lost his world title on Sunday, and then he took a fucking Superman punch and a chair shot to the back Sunday night.
You're right about everything. I guess the only reason I didn't consider Seth was that in the overarching grand scheme, he did get the biggest thing he wanted, which is the bloodline to, suffer this blow and Roman no longer have the title. So his intervention did work. Him being
Yeah, that
Cody
is
Shields did
true,
work.
but like he was so incredibly beat to shit that he didn't even show up on TV this week.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
Um,
Roman didn't show up because of a mental defeat. Seth didn't show up because he's just beat to shit.
yeah. I'm gonna make high spot really easy for myself. Solo. I mean, Jesus Christ. The dude had probably one of the most talked about segments for WWE TV this week. Uh Beat the hell out of Jimmy and, and put the fear of God in Paul Heyman, which here's the thing. If you control Paul Heyman, it's a lot of stroke. And I have a feeling that Paul, because again, he's never been portrayed as a babyface. Again, Jay thought that Paul needed to leave for Roman to get better. And I just feel like Paul's going to side with Solo's bloodline. So great week for Solo because in my mind, long term, he has poached Roman's wise man from him. And until I'm proven wrong, that's my conviction. So who is your high spot?
Before I just wanted to ask, would you say that Seth Rollins was involved in the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania, the Cody Roman match, for at least 5 minutes or not?
Um, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, well, if we assume that his involvement in that match was 5 minutes or more, that means that he wrestled for at least an hour between the two nights of WrestleMania.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because his that opening main event, that Bloodline versus Cody and Seth tag match that main evented night one went for 44 and a half minutes. And then his match with Drew went for another 10 and a half. So that's 55 right there. Plus the 5 that was involved with their Cody Roman match. So yeah, that's an hour.
Yeah.
And
God
that's with
damn.
a bad back, and the Drew matches with a bad knee, and half of the Bloodline matches with a bad knee too. Like, oh yeah, he got fucked up so bad.
Yes.
Honestly, it's no wonder he wasn't around this week. He's probably taking time off to heal.
Yes.
Ah,
Taking
okay.
time off to heal because he didn't prove me right and turn heel. Fuck you, Seth.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. And you said your high spot was Solo Sokoa, right?
that's correct. So yours is.
My high spot is going to be Bailey.
Aw, I love that.
Yes, because she finally won the. Well, I think this was her first win at Mania. I think actually, now that I think about
Yeah.
it,
First
uh,
singles match at Mania,
her
too.
first singles match at Mania, her first win at Mania. She won her women's championship back from EO. She overcame the woman who betrayed her in the first place, and she got to name her first challenger. And even when that statement, like that declaration of this is who my first challenger is going to be, was challenged, her first challenger managed to win contendership regardless. So Bailey's having a great fucking week.
Is good for you, Bailey. Good for
Hell
you.
yeah. We
All
love that for
right.
you, Bailey. You earned it.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. So, yeah, with all of that said, this has been in review. This has been TwitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my core and commentary Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the video as you file out. Subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any of that Twitch goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. And we will see you guys again. I mean, if you're part of the Discord, we'll see you Monday for Raw. Again, hopefully being headlined by Chad versus Sammy in Montreal for the Intercontinental Championship. Hey, maybe it'll be a new Montreal screw job. Who knows? And then, yeah, as far as actual content goes, Thursday for Stardom recap at 7. And then, Tuesday and Friday is going to be NXT and SmackDown, respectively, again, in the Discord. And then after that, if you're just here for in review, because it's like, listen, I just want to hear you guys talk about the week when it's all wrapped up. It's Saturdays at 10:30. Unless we've got a pay-per-view we're reacting to, then usually it's Saturdays at 4, unless it has a weird start time, which a lot of these pay-per-views will because they're international. So we're gonna have a lot of tinkering to do and stuff. But yeah, standard time usually is 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in and peace out.